Life's a ride, so let's make it count. Cherish every moment, that's what it's about. Tune in together, we're building our groove. Every beat, every laugh, we're ready to move. A little laughter, some love, we're soaring high. Every single episode reaching for the sky. News on the airwaves, spreading good vibes. Friends together, watch how our spirits rise. Kick back, unwind, leave the troubles behind. This podcast is gold, the treasure you'll find. With every word, we'll light up your day. Join the conversation, let's laugh all the way. A little laughter, some love, we're soaring high. Every single episode reaching for the sky. News on the airwaves, spreading good vibes. Friends together, watch how our spirits rise. Kick back, unwind, leave your troubles behind. This podcast is gold, a treasure you'll find.
Hello, and good morning, good evening, good afternoon, good night, whatever it is. I hope it's good for you because it's great to be back with you guys again today. Welcome back to the morning show. It is great to see you all here. Thank you very much for joining us. I appreciate you very much. I believe Mama Bear has some kind of appointments today. I didn't get to talk to her much this morning, so I am grateful to be here with you guys. So she won't be joining us, unfortunately, I don't believe. Hold on a minute, everybody. 1 minute, please, and thank you. I didn't get to see that, Taylor. I'm sorry. Hold on. Yes, I think I get it now. Okay. I'll go back there shortly and go through that. Thank you all for being here. Speaking of, it looks like the lovely Miss Wisdom Speaks is in the house. Trish Crow, welcome back to you. Thank you so much for joining us. In Stitches is back in the house. Taylor with Stitching Bitchin' and more. Welcome back to you. Alicia J, great to see you. Ricky Tran, that would be Mr. Jesse in the house. Jesse Schul. Welcome back, sir. Miss Lacey, good to see you today. Alicia J. Paula Fitzhenry, welcome back. Brandy B, the OG, good to see you. Let me see. Show. Wisdom Speaks. Come on in, guys. Grab a seat. Get comfortable if you will. Please and thank you. Appreciate you very much. Let's see. What did I do? Did I say something funny or something? Or did I mess something up? So today, guys, we got plenty of stuff to look into. We're going to be looking into the two kids that are missing out of Nova Scotia and Canada still, the Mickey Stines, KEVINMULLINS situation, the New England serial killer, and much more. So thank you guys for joining us here today for that. I appreciate you very much. 13 peeps in the house, 9 likes. Come on in. Hit the like button, please, and share this out. If you will, I appreciate it very much. Thank you. It's been a crazy couple of days, you guys. My apologies. Let's see here. There's a situation right here in Ohio that has gone down. Just crazy things happening all over the place. So we're going to be looking into a little bit of everything today like we do. Let me see here. Come on in, everybody. Oh, okay, Taylor. No worries. Thank you. Okay. Yeah, it's very sad. Near Columbus. I think that's what Taylor's talking about too. Come on in, guys. We still have the two beautiful little ones missing out of Nova Scotia, 4 and 6 years old. It's been too long, you guys, way too long. I'm getting real unnerved over this. So we're gonna look into that and this Columbus, Ohio situation. Again, the New England serial killer situation, or what could be, and a little bit of something on Mickey Stines again, and whatever else we tend to float our boat over. Come on in, guys. Grab a seat, please, and share this out, please, and thank you. I appreciate you very much. Today is my 19th year wedding anniversary. 19 years. We've been together for 24, going on 24 years, but married for 19 years today. Crazy stuff. Crazy stuff. Never would have imagined it. But it happened, and it's still happening. Thank you, Trish. Appreciate you. She's outside doing her thing right now, which she likes to do. Thank you, Miss Wisdom. I appreciate that very much. I'll be joining her shortly hereafter for other things we're going to do out there. That's about it. Thank you, Alicia, very much. 19 years. It seems like so much longer than that. It really does. Seems like we've been together forever, which is a good thing. It's a very good thing. Close to 25 years. Now, it doesn't seem like, maybe it just sounds weird. It doesn't seem like it's been 25 years that we've been together, but it, you know what I mean? It's strange. Thank you, Mark. Good to see you and great to have you here. Thank you, Stitches. I appreciate that very much. Aurora, thank you as well, and welcome. Welcome to you both, Mark, Aurora, and In Stitches. Come on in, guys. Grab a seat. Yeah, well, we'll see what happens there, Miss Wisdom. I have no idea how that's going to play out. No idea. Yes, thank you so much, Aurora. I am too. She's probably the most magnificent, most wonderful, most amazing woman on this planet. No offense to the rest of you ladies, but she is. Of course, I was married to the creature for 9.5 years beforehand. And I learned from that. And I got lucky to be able to, when I got divorced from the creature, meet this amazing woman that lived across the street from me. She was my neighbor and my friend. And we babysat each other's kids. And we hung out and we were friends. And 24 years later, here we sit. And I wouldn't trade 1 second of it for anything. Nothing. She showed me how to live. She showed me how to enjoy life. She taught me how to smile more. She turned me into the person I have become today as compared to who I was then. She taught me how to love. And she's brought me nothing but pure, absolute, true, pure, and unadulterated happiness for the past 24 years, you guys. And I can only hope and pray that everybody else out there is able to experience what I've experienced with my wife and have the same feeling that I have with my wife and have the luck to find that person to be able to share their life with. I can only hope and pray that. Oh, of course I did, Alicia. Of course I did. I'm the mushy guy. You know how mushy I get. Thank you, Sherry. I tell her that stuff all the time. She knows. She knows. I've been single longer than well, and it works for you, obviously. You know, not everybody's made for this. Not everybody's made for being single. Everybody has their own way of living their lives in a way that makes them happy. There's always somebody for everybody, guys. Always. You just have to be in the right place at the right time, and I got very lucky. My husband and I are very close like that, too. Before we got together, I had been in a very abusive relationship with a narcissist. That's right. That's right. When you still get, after 24, almost 25 years, and I still get butterflies every time she walks in the door from work, it says something to me. And yeah, my first marriage to the creature there's a reason why she's called the creature, was very abusive and narcissistic and emotionally abusive, mentally abusive. It was just bad. So, well, that's weird. That's what Brandy is. My wife is an Aquarius, but I'm a Sagittarius, so there's a difference. And the thing is she's all about love. Just don't make her mad, because that side of her is a very scary side of her. I don't see it very often, but when it does come out, oh boy. Same with me. Same with me. Yeah, she's an Aquarius, and I'm a saggy Sagittarius, whatever that is. 17 peeps in the house, 16 likes. Come on in, guys. Grab a seat, please, and thank you. Appreciate you guys very much for joining us today. All right. Yeah, I wouldn't know what to do without this woman in my life. I can't. I just can't. Oh boy. Yes, it does. Yes, it does. Yes, it does. I'll just leave that right there for you, Alicia. But yes, it does. You're an awesome person too. So everybody in here is amazing. You guys are all awesome in your own special ways, and amazing people here. Beautiful, like I say, the beautiful people, because that's what you all are. And that's the thing, is the creature. When I met her in a bar. My band was playing, and she showed up, and there was no real connection. It was purely a physical, if that makes sense, a physical thing. She was like a band groupie to start with, and yeah, so, and she ended up pregnant with my first son, and she had a 3-month-old child when I met her, who she's not biologically my daughter, but in my heart, in my soul, she's my daughter. I raised her as my own. She still, even though the creature and I are no longer together, she still is deeply, deeply involved in my life, as I am in hers. So the greatest thing that came from that 9.5 years is my children, my 2 boys, my daughter, and the experiences I had, whether they were good or not, or bad, or still something that taught me some things about life, and I'm grateful for that. Besides that, that's pretty much it. And then it prepared me for this part when I met this woman, the love of my life. That prepared me for that. Unfortunately, in the beginning, it was a little rough because I was nervous about being with anybody, but it is what it is. But I learned, and I started to trust, and very sadly, well, not sadly, then I didn't want to fall in love with anybody, but I did. And I'm grateful that I allowed myself to do that, because I'd never be here with where I am with her now if I didn't. She's just amazing. Everything about her. As I tell her all the time, almost regularly, that God sent me an angel because he knew I needed one, and there she is. So So it is. So it is. Come on in, guys. Almost 20 peeps in the house. 17 likes. Everybody must be busy today. It is a hell of a lot more than I got to thank God for giving us a beautiful day to celebrate this on. I give him that much. That makes sense. See, the creature was a Leo, and it just didn't. We didn't match up. I understand, but you do well on your own, wisdom. And that's what I'm saying. Some people just aren't meant for that. But they do very well with themselves and alone. And you're an amazing person. So that says a lot, wisdom. It just happens. Sometimes we fall into these bad relationships and we don't go back. Mine was too, Aurora. That's what I said. Mine was too. And I'm not. A lot of guys would never admit to being in an abusive relationship and being abused, but I was. I was mentally and emotionally badly, very badly. But I took it because I had children, and I did not want my children to be alone with that. And luckily, very luckily, because it doesn't happen often, especially not in the state that I live in Ohio. I ended up with full custody of my children in our divorce. Raised them the best way I could. But there's a lot of things that were still there because she was still part of their life. I wanted her to be part of their lives, but, not the caretaker. I didn't trust that. He's got a big ego, but is also a good man who provides well for his family. I'm the caretaker who will tell him when he needs to shut. Yep, there you go. And that's how that works. And that works well. Because you guys have an amazing dynamic going on there with all your amazing children. It works. And that's what happens. It's the way it's got to be to make things work the right way. So I wouldn't trade anything. I wouldn't trade. I'll put it this way. As much as it pained me to go through what I went through with the creature, I wouldn't trade that right now for anything. I would go through it all over again because it taught me a lot. And it taught me, I learned from that. I was very young when I got married to her. I was 18. 19, I'm sorry. Yeah, 19. She was 23. I was 19. And it taught me the things to look for in people and to not look for, and things to do and not do, and trust and all that stuff. So, and it was amazing to me because when I left that relationship, that's why I didn't want to be in another relationship, because I thought all women were, that's what they did. They went and they slept around and they did this and did that and they abused their spouse. And even though, I was raised by my mom, she was a single mom for a long time until my stepfather stepped in, who's in my heart, he's my father, period. And he was amazing to me and my sister. And I took what I learned from him, who I have to proudly say that that's who I've become in my life with my kids, my grandkids, all that. I mean, he's an amazing person still. I'm grateful for him every day. But I also learned what it's like to be a single parent. My mother was a single mother. She was abused by my biological father and my sister's father. And so, yeah, you learn all these things as you come up. And then I went through the same type of an abusive relationship. Very unhealthy, very, very unhealthy. It was bad. But you learn and you take that and you go forward and you try to do the best you can with it and you make the best from it and try to live the best life you can. So I did that and I'm happy. Like I said, I wouldn't trade anything I've done or been through for anything, guys, because I wouldn't be where I'm at this point now. I don't think, if I did. So I'm grateful. And once again, I hope all of you are able to experience that in your lives, whether it be with somebody or not. Everybody deserves to have that kind of feeling and that happiness. And I hope and pray that all of you at some point in life get to experience that if you haven't already. So that's what I hope for everyone. All right. We got 17 people. Everybody must be busy today, so that's okay. Let's see what we got going on in here. Hold on here. All right. Come on and load up. First thing we're going to do, guys, is we're going to jump in. I'm going to take it back to the beginning. We're going to jump into the press conference in regards to the 2 children missing out of Nova Scotia. I think that's probably the most important thing to look at today. So we're going to start with that here. And bear with me. Once again, I want you guys to know how much I appreciate you guys joining me, being here and supporting the channel and myself as you do. We appreciate you very much. And again, thank you all for being here today.
Is that okay if you like that?
Yeah, that should be okay. Thank you. Good afternoon. Sorry. Good afternoon. I am Corporal Carly McCann, Provincial Public Information Officer for the Nova Scotia RCMP. Thank you all for being here today. Bonjour, je suis la caporale Carly McCann, agent d'information publique pour la GRC en Nouvelle-Écosse. Merci de votre présence aujourd'hui. First, I acknowledge that we are in Mi'kma'ki, the traditional and unceded ancestral territory of the Mi'kmaq people. I also recognize that African Nova Scotians are a distinct people whose histories, legacies, and contributions have enriched that part of Mi'kma'ki known as Nova Scotia for over 400 years. Premièrement, je reconnais que nous nous trouvons aujourd'hui à Mi'kma'ki, le territoire ancestral traditionnel et non cédé du peuple Mi'kmaq. Je reconnais également que les Néo-Écossais d'origine africaine constituent un peuple distinct dont l'histoire, l'héritage et les contributions ont enrichi la partie du Mi'kmaq connue sous le nom de la Nouvelle-Écosse depuis plus de 400 ans. At this time, I invite the following officers to the podium with me. Inspector Mike Ingles, District Policing Officer for Northeast Nova District RCMP, Staff Sergeant Curtis McKinnon, Pictou County District Commander, Staff Sergeant Rob McCammon, Acting Officer in Charge of Major Crimes and Behavioral Sciences Group, and Amy Hansen, Search Manager with Colchester Ground Search and Rescue. Staff Sergeant Curtis McKinnon will provide you with an overview of the efforts to find Lily and Jack. He will review the search and investigation that began on Friday morning and provide the current status and next steps. We will take questions from media present following that. I invite Staff Sergeant McKinnon to the podium. J'invite maintenant le Sergent d'État McKinnon à prendre la parole. Merci.
Thank you all for being here today. First of all, our thoughts go to the family and loved ones of Lily and Jack Sullivan, to their communities, and to everyone who's worked day and night in an effort to find the children and bring them home. Since the first 911 call was received by the RCMP, reporting that 6-year-old Lily and 4-year-old Jack had wandered away from their home on Garlick Road and Lansdowne Station, a multi-agency search has been underway. Teams have been working around the clock. This search has included many agencies, including volunteer ground search and rescue teams from across Nova Scotia and New Brunswick, the Civil Air Search and Rescue Association, known as CASERA, Department of Natural Resources Air Services, Nova Scotia Public Safety and Field Communications, Nova Scotia Guard, Joint Rescue Coordination Center, Salvation Army, the Canada Heavy Urban Search and Rescue Task Force 5, and several RCMP units, including police dog services and drone operators. Since Saturday, because we treat all missing person files as suspicious until our investigation leads us to determine otherwise, our Major Crimes Unit has been engaged. It's been an all hands on deck effort using every available resource and tool. Since the search began on May 2nd, it has been concentrated in the Garlick Road area and has covered 4 square kilometers of heavy wooded rural terrain. Up to 160 trained volunteer searchers, along with many others, have been involved in the search each day. Tens of thousands of search hours have been dedicated to scouring the area, and GSAR has confirmed that over 100 tracks have been laid using GPS and grid searches. Efforts to locate Lily and Jack have also included 2 vulnerable missing person alerts, posting their children's photos and information on Nova Scotia RCMP website and social media accounts. Our social accounts have more than 300,000 followers, and releasing information to local media as well as reporters across the country. Lily and Jack have made headlines from coast to coast. While the search has been ongoing, RCMP officers continued with the missing person investigation, speaking with family and community members to gather tips and other information that could help locate the children. We have not received any confirmed reports of sightings. Lily and Jack's family has been provided with regular updates on the search and on the missing person investigation. They've also been afforded supports. As of today, May 7th, the active search efforts to locate Lily and Jack will be scaled back. We're transitioning from a full-scale search to searches in more specific spaces that have already been searched by our teams. We want to circle back to increase the probability that all clues have been found. And when transitioning from an active search to a scaled-back search, the probability of survival is taken into consideration. I want to assure you that our missing persons investigation continues. We're not packing up, and we're not giving up. Our investigation is broad, and it won't end until we know where Lily and Jack are and can bring them home. We'll continue to investigate and chase leads for as long as and as hard as we have to. We have the best investigators working every aspect of the file. We continue to appeal to anyone who have information related to our investigation and who has not yet spoken to us to contact the Pictou County District RCMP at 902-485-4333 or Crime Stoppers. Before I close, I want to reiterate that our hearts go out to Lily and Jack's family, to the community, and the people who've worked so incredibly hard to date. Many of us have children of our own and have wanted nothing more than to reunite Lily
Welcome,
and
Eddie. Good to
Jack
see you,
with
brother.
their loved ones. Thank you.
This is a very sad situation. It bugs the hell
Thank
out of
you,
me.
Staff Sergeant McKinnon.
Some of it's a little weird.
I'll now provide his remarks in French. Merci à tous d'être présents aujourd'hui. Tout d'abord, nos pensées vont à la famille et les proches de Lily et Jack Sullivan, à leur communauté et à tous ceux qui ont travaillé jour et nuit pour retrouver les enfants et les ramener à la maison. Et depuis le premier appel au 911 reçu par la GRC signalant que Lily, 6 ans, et Jack, 4 ans, s'étaient égarés de leur domicile.
I believe they are, Jesse, the RCMP, Royal Canadian Mounted Police. I do believe that's who that is.
Sur la rue Garlock à Lansdowne Station. Les recherches ont été lancées par de nombreuses agences. Les équipes ont travaillé sans relâche. Plusieurs organisations ont participé aux recherches, notamment les équipes bénévoles de recherche et de sauvetage au sol de la Nouvelle-Écosse et du Nouveau-Brunswick, l'Association civile de recherche et de sauvetage.
Wait, you would know that's where you're from. Thank you, sir, for the dual likes. I appreciate that, brother, very much. 100%. Let's talk about loyalty and dedication, bro. Hitting it twice. God bless you, bro. Appreciate you.
Aérien, également connu sous le nom CASERA, les services aériens du ministère des Ressources naturelles, le ministère de la Sécurité publique et des communications sur le terrain de la Nouvelle-Écosse, le Centre conjoint de coordination des opérations de sauvetage, la Salvation Army, la Garde de la Nouvelle-Écosse, la Force opérationnelle 5 de recherche et de sauvetage de milieux urbains de niveau opérationnel lourd du Canada, et plusieurs unités de la GRC, y compris les services cynophiles et les opérateurs des drones. Depuis samedi, parce que nous traitons tous les dossiers de personnes disparues comme suspectes jusqu'à ce que notre enquête nous amène à déterminer le contraire, notre groupe
Nobody
de
needs to be that
a
dedicated,
été
Jesse.
mobilisé. Il s'agit d'un effort collectif qui fait appel à toutes les ressources et à tous les outils disponibles. Depuis le début des recherches, le 2 mai, se sont concentrés dans la région de la rue Garlock et ont couvert 4 km² de terrain très boisé. Jusqu'à 160 chercheurs bénévoles formés avec de nombreuses autres personnes ont participé aux recherches chaque jour. Des dizaines de milliers d'heures de recherche ont été consacrées à fouiller la zone et les responsables de recherche et de sauvetage au sol ont confirmé que plus de 100 parcours ont été effectués à l'aide des systèmes de localisation GPS et de grilles de recherche. Parmi les efforts de retrouver Lily et Jack, Mentionnons aussi la diffusion de 2 alertes de personnes vulnérables disparues, la publication des photos et des renseignements sur le site web de la GRC en Nouvelle-Écosse et des réseaux sociaux, et la transmission de renseignements aux médias locaux ainsi qu'aux journalistes.
All she's doing is repeating what was stated already in French. Parlez-vous français?
What we'll be doing is we'll be continuing on. Just because today the search is being scaled back, we still will continue on. We will go back to areas that we feel that we may need to re-look at, and we may expand out if there's any type of information that leads us to believe that we need to do that.
So if you'd like to follow up. Sorry,
how would that help you to specifically go to places that have been searched by hundreds of people, like you're saying? How could that help you find new links?
Yeah, because of the terrain, there could be different types of things that we may want to try and get back in if we are able to locate anything.
Same here.
That the searchers didn't go catch the first time, but we will do everything we can to try and find Jack and Lily. Yeah, and based on the weather, the season changes, we don't want to leave, and we're not leaving. Just that this part of this search is being scaled back.
Thank the Lord.
So, en français, on continue de faire la recherche dans les mêmes espaces qu'on a déjà visités parce qu'avec les changements de météo, les changements de saison pendant l'année, on va peut-être trouver des nouveaux indices, des nouvelles choses là qui peuvent nous aider à établir des nouveaux indices pour trouver Lily et Jack. On continue avec la recherche ici et notre but ici continue de retourner.
Rob McCammon, Robert, and MCCAMON is the last name. So major crime became involved very early in the investigation. We're able to bring in some specialized knowledge and skill sets, and we help with the information management and decision making. As we scale back, as we've identified, there are certain areas that are going to be relooked at that could contain a confined area perhaps, and maybe need some more specialized search areas. But I'll leave that to the search crews to expand on. And we're going to continue pursuing any leads or information that comes in, and the stuff that we do have. We have engaged in all areas of the RCMP. All tools that are available to us are being considered and engaged when appropriate.
Do you have a follow-up?
Yeah, as a follow-up, that I guess the general population looks at it and says, "You've searched very thoroughly this area.
Mm-hmm.
You would have found them if they were there," which then makes people, certainly on social media, people are assuming, rightly or wrongly, that there's a criminal element to this.
Sure.
And can you, I know, what can you tell me about that, your work on that potential?
Well, I can't really speculate on the investigation, obviously. That wouldn't be fair to the process. But we are constantly reviewing everything that's been done, looking at all different facets.
See, at this point, because of what was just stated, I've been thinking that myself. Because of the time lapse that there's been, guys, I'm starting to worry and wonder about possible abduction. It's always been on my mind since we started looking at this, but period of time that it's been now, day 6, I think, with as many people as they've had searching, that's what I start to worry about. Okay, when I start to worry about it, and it scares me. But I don't even know what to think or say, but it bugs the hell out of me. Yeah, day 6. I just pray to God that they find these two alive, safe, and healthy, and that's what I'm praying for. My stomach is telling me other things, so I hope not.
It's of available information, and we'll make decisions on that. I can't really comment on the details of that, but we will pursue every lead that becomes available and take it to where it needs to go.
So is there a question? Yeah, sorry, go ahead.
Okay, Nicholas again with CBC National News. You at first said it wasn't suspicious, you think the kids just wandered off. Now you're saying every missing person's investigation is considered suspicious. Is it still suspicious? Are there any suspects here?
Again, I'm not going to comment on the details of the investigation, but I will comment when somebody goes missing and we become engaged as any police officer, not just major crime, we will look at all the details and make considerations on the information we have, right? When it comes to a missing person, we have to automatically consider are there people that have different charter implications and things like that? So we will automatically start to consider what evidence is pointing us towards a suspicious in nature. Again, I can't comment more than that, but every missing person case, we would approach it from the same process, a methodical collection and review of information with decisions based on that.
And the family has said they believe it's
I was wondering if anybody else caught that at
an
all.
abduction or they suspect it's an abduction.
Alicia said I caught that too. In the beginning, they said it wasn't suspicious, made a point to say that. Now they're saying this. See? Good catch, Alicia. That's what I said. Something's not right. And when we found out the other day, Eddie dropped an article that we didn't see, that the mother left the stepfather and blocked him on all her social media accounts, everything, and has no contact with him. Something's not right. Okay? Something's not right. So they got something they're looking at, in my opinion. And it just bugs the hell out of me now because I don't know what it is. And I just want to know that these kids are okay. So, yeah, there's something that's up going on with this. In my opinion.
Are there now any clues or anything leading you to think that that might be possible?
If we had any information that led that way and we felt that we could provide anything with the public, we would have done that. We would have got that information out. We're working very closely with the family and we will pursue every avenue. But again, I'm not going to make any specific comments, but anything that would point towards that, we would immediately take steps to address things that need to be addressed.
CBC. I think this question is most appropriate to Staff Sergeant. You talked about survivability. I was wondering if you could address that specifically, given the ages of the two missing children and the weather conditions we've experienced this week.
Yeah. So the incident command person with the RCMP, along with the search manager, at some point have to make a decision when would it scale back this search, and a number of factors would have to take consideration, and they would, based upon scientific information that they have, to deem when that time has to come, and that is now. And a lot of those factors come into play would be the age of the missing persons, the weather, how long it's been, what area has been covered. So at that point, they have to make a decision on that.
I hate to ask this, but given their age and the conditions, if they were still in the woods, do you think they would still be alive?
I guess it goes back to all those factors have to come into play, right? So we are scaling back because it's time to move to a different part of the search.
First off, CTV, scale back versus active search. I know yesterday there was a number at or around 140 searchers on the ground before squaring kilometers. You said, can you quantify what scaled back is? Like fewer searchers, smaller area, larger area? How does that look going forward? Yeah, so
just to go to the first point, there's been a lot of searchers here, and we can't thank them enough for being here. They've given up. A lot of them have been here since day one, and they have given up. Some have taken time off work. Some have left their families behind, and we are very grateful for that. Saying that, we will look in on them and their senior managers to give us some recommendations of what else we can do. But we will take that and we will explore whatever we have and whatever we can do to.
See, the thing that worries me when they do this is that they may transverse this into a recovery mission at this point. That's what bothers me. Because it has happened in the past with other cases I've seen, is when they scale back like this, then they turn it over and basically they start looking at it as recovery. And I'm hoping that's not what this is. I hope not. That's all I'm saying.
Check in spots that need to be checked or whatever. But at this point in time, after today, we just won't see all these searchers here.
Sure. Amy, if you're comfortable with that.
Thank you.
Thank you.
I saw a person yesterday who was dressed like you, limping, being carried out. People are hot and sweaty through the South Nurses point, a lot of hard work. Can you talk about how rough it was in the woods? Like, it looks almost impassable What did you see, or what did your people and your team see when you went into this wilderness?
Well, these woods, that they are very thick. There's a lot of the hurricane damage from Fiona a couple of years ago, and we've had teams struggling to get through areas. And I can't say anything more about the searchers. They're pushing through all of these areas, going through all of these deadfalls, going through waterways and anything possible just to cover their search areas. So we know that everything has been so thoroughly searched that it's time to, as they say, scale back. And we are exhausting people. We're starting to see more injuries coming back the last couple of days. And it's hard terrain. Amy Hansen.
And
SE.
And I will note as well, having had the opportunity to participate yesterday in a helicopter search as well, it is immensely clear looking from above, based on the orange tags on the trees, how thoroughly and meticulously the area has been searched, based on the indications you can see even from up in the air of how thorough the searches are. So I also give a hats off to the
And that right there, that statement there is what has me so worried about abduction now. They had a lot of searchers there, 140 plus, I do believe, nonstop. And they even searched through the night, which doesn't happen a lot, okay? They scaled down a little bit searchers at night, but they still had them going nonstop. And they showed an aerial view of this, and they searched everywhere, guys. These two little ones, they were so small, they couldn't have gotten too far. So my two biggest fears with this are, one, abduction, two, predatory animals possibly getting a hold of them. That's my other biggest fear on this one. But prayers and thoughts that doesn't happen. Not everybody's a prayer. Just keep them in your good thoughts, folks. That's all we can do. Eddie said, didn't we hear them say yesterday that a 12-foot search was 12 hours long? Or a foot search was 12 hours long. Yeah, I do believe that's how it was stated yesterday, Eddie. But I do believe that they also, based on what they said a little bit ago, like Alicia pointed out, that I think they're looking in a different direction at this point, possibly too. So, I don't know, but we'll see. It makes the hair stand up on the back of my neck and truly nauseates me because of the thoughts, Agreed, Aurora. It makes you wonder. It just makes you wonder. So.
Many searchers who have participated here in support of finding Lily and Jack.
That's a good point. Got me stumped. Thank you for joining us today. That's my other issue. Like I said, the abduction side of it is what I truly worry about too.
Yeah, would you like to go ahead?
Just with the search still continuing in the forest, is there evidence that children are in the forest?
Very slowly.
Are radios able to pick up Staff Sergeant McKinnon here with this train? Or? That's it. Okay, we'll
Wait.
We'll wait.
Damn train.
Slow down.
Same here. I think we're probably all questioning that specific person at this point now too.
Is that any better at this point with the bell passed? I'll note as well the reason that the train is passing by slowly is out of respect for the fact that Lily and Jack are missing here. So it's passing slow in order to have their staff be aware and note the ongoing missing person investigation happening in the area here. So that just does again speak to the number of people involved and aware of this search and everything that's happening in this area and the awareness and the way that the information has spread so widely through Nova Scotia and Canada. So I think we were with your question.
It's funny you said that, Aurora. I was talking to my wife yesterday about this, and I told her that they had brought up that said that the child was undiagnosed autistic. Well, your statement, I feel some parents are over labeling kids as autistic as an excuse when they make mistakes or are a bad parent. You're not the only person that has stated that. I've seen that stated before, and you got to wonder because it became a regular thing, and it seemed to be, a lot of kids were falling into situations because of that. And I hope people aren't doing that, is all I'm going to say. I hope they're not doing that. I hope they're not using that as an excuse to not parent or to make excuses for their laziness or their lack thereof parenting, things like that. So, but you're not the only person that has made that acknowledgement. You know what I mean? So it's a good point.
Okay. Have we found any evidence?
Yeah, so at one point there was a possible boot impression found, and I can tell you that they search and rescues then performed grid searches of that area and expanded out from that area in a meticulous fashion. They're focused and tight searches, and nothing else was found. It appeared it was a possible boot print of a smaller boot print. So when we have a possibility like that, that's when we exhaust that area as well. So make sure that that wasn't a clue that we were missing.
I'm wondering, I understand canine unit has been involved. Have cadaver dogs been involved at this point?
I don't believe cadaver dogs have been involved at this point yet.
Will they become involved? And I'd also like to circle back to Blair's question on survivability. If you could give a little bit more detail there about how you're making the equation, bringing in cadaver dogs and assessing survivability.
So cadaver dogs could be the next step in terms of part when we talk about scaling back. That could be another option that we now look at using. And getting back to that point, I mean, that decision was made based on a lot of factors. And if we thought they were alive right now, we'd still be out there.
So like I said, now they're going to turn this over to a rescue or a recovery mission now. Based on what he just said, that tells me what I thought. And I hate hearing that.
Does that mean that no plans yet?
Not that I'm worried. I can speak to of if the cadaver dogs are coming or not. I can't speak to it.
Is there a question here? So George, do you two have something global? Okay.
Hi, I'm Lindsay Jones with the Globe and Mail. Wondering if you can clarify, we heard major crime has been involved since Sunday, is that correct?
Saturday morning.
Since Saturday, okay. So do you believe the children met foul play?
Do you want to talk?
Again, I'm not going to comment on specifics of the investigation. We're going to continue on, and when we get to a point that we've got information that we're able to make any decisions that are able to be public, we'll let you know at that time.
I missed what she asked about something about a crime, and he said Saturday morning. This is so hard to hear this. I'd like to know. I wonder what the hell she's talking about.
Right now, I'm not going to comment on specifics. So.
Okay, so but you don't believe the children are alive anymore?
No, based on the experts and the review of the facts, the inclement weather, the time frames, and their age, the likelihood that they're alive right now is very low.
Okay, and can I just ask one more question about the scaling back of the search? Are you reducing the number of searchers out there, or is it being concentrated just with RCMP now, or how is that looking differently on the ground?
Yeah, absolutely. So the searchers will be finishing at the end of their operational period today, and now it'll come back to the Pictou District RCMP, and we'll make decisions and put in plans of how we move forward.
So rather than having the large presence here, the massive number of searchers on scene every day, searches will be based on information that comes in and specifics in order to make things pointed and specific to areas that are pinpointed or specific to a search need in the area. So, I believe we've gone through the group for questions at this point. So out of respect for the police officers here and the many searchers who are still there, I'd like to conclude our media availability today. Oh, sorry, is there one person with, sorry, my apologies, sorry.
Alex Terrio, Stingray Radio. You mentioned you're circling back to find clues. You talked about the blueprint. Are there anything you're looking to find, expecting to find, or usually find in these situations?
We're looking for any type of clue, any information to help us out. And then we'll take that information and work forward from that.
Second follow-up, is the blueprint still involved in the search process, or was that deemed to be not relevant?
I can't say it's not relevant, but it was the search was exhausted in that area, and we were not able to find any more clues or evidence of that area. So,
thank you very much.
Sorry, can you clarify? You just said to the previous question that the ground search and rescue is being called, like the volunteers are being called off after today.
yes, at the end of the operational period today, they will be done.
How many times do they need to explain it? My God.
À la fin de la session aujourd'hui, les équipes de sauvetage Jack's loved ones at this difficult time. On sera fini à la fin de la journée aujourd'hui, le 7 mai. Merci. Again, out of respect for the search and rescue teams that continue to be on scene here and the police as well, we conclude this media availability today. And our thoughts do remain with Lily and Jack's loved ones at this difficult time. Alors que nous concluons.
This is beyond sad to me. So basically, in a nutshell, folks, this has become a recovery mission now because they don't believe the children are still alive. And I still am holding out hope that, as much as this sounds horrible, that there's a possible abduction rather than the fact that they may be deceased at this point. I'm not okay with that. Not that an abduction is good, okay, but it's still something that could be worked through, per se. Oh, very bad rural, very rural wisdom. The map it's horrible. It's horrible. I don't know that I would want to live out here with children, to be honest with you. You know what I mean? Absolutely horrible. I don't even know what to think. I don't know if it's if this could be good or bad, or I don't even know. I don't know. We're on day number 6. That's bad. Let me see something here. If this is new, hold on. Okay, this next segment was from 19 hours ago. And as you all heard yesterday when Eddie gave us that article, again, I'm grateful for it. After we watched everything we watched on this, then we get this article thrown up at us that states that the stepfather and the mother have since split up. She took off and went to stay with family and blocked him on all social media accounts. Something's wrong. Okay, you just don't do that when you're looking for two children. How would a kidnapper know those children would be outside? Well, just driving by, wisdom. That's the only way it would happen, in my opinion. If you see them outside, or if they did get out and they wandered a certain type of way and somebody drives by, per se, there are main roads that go through there. You know what I mean? That's all it would take. Or they walked near the road. Somebody called them from the road. Anything like that. And in my opinion, that would be the only possibility of abduction would be that type of a scenario. So there's something not right. There's something not right based on what we learned about the stepdad. I don't know what's going on with that, and I'm not going to try to guess it at this point. We really don't even know if it is day 6 or if they've really been gone longer than that. And that could be something, Eddie. We don't know. I never thought of that. We don't know. It is definitely odd, Sherry. 100%. Very odd, very shady.
Desperate search continues here in Pictou County, Nova Scotia. More than 100 search and rescue workers, many of them volunteers, continue their efforts working alongside the RCMP. As the massive search continues in the thickly wooded area of this Nova Scotia community, 6-year-old Lily and 4-year-old Jack Sullivan's mother and stepfather are holding out hope, waiting and praying for any good news.
The very first day I wasn't around very much because I was just searching. I was running through the woods, screaming their name till my throat hurt.
The focus of the search involves a radius of several kilometers from where the children were last seen playing on Friday.
Welcome, Chick.
We want to bring these 2 children home to their parents. We've got people who've been here since day one, since the first time the call came in. So they're tired and they're optimistic. They have one job. This is all search and rescue does, is they try to bring people home safely.
The search area has expanded on an hourly basis, and the methods being deployed are also changing. Originally, there were 2 search and rescue helicopters. Now there are 3, and rescue workers have deployed 5 drones to assist in their efforts to find these missing children.
That's my issue with this, is they've covered everything, you guys. Everything. Something's off. I don't know. I don't know what it is yet. Let me see something. See if I can find anything. Why, welcome to the Sauce, Miss Chick Bake. Congratulations. Thank you for rejoining. Appreciate you very much. Great to have you here. All right, guys, give me a moment here to try to see. Good morning, Miss Noel, and good gracious. Thank you so much for that again. God bless you. Wow. I appreciate your super chat so much. Good morning to you. Good. God bless. That's all I could say. That's so amazing. Thank you so much, dear. Very much appreciated. Very generous. God bless you. God love you. We appreciate you so much, Noel. So very much amazing. So very, very, very amazing. Appreciate you so much. I can't say it enough. Absolutely so awesome. Very much appreciated, dear. I appreciate you being part of this community, and we love seeing you here every time you're here, dear. We appreciate you so much. I don't know what to think at this point, you guys. I have my questions about this, and I'm really worried about this. I don't know. Sherry, what are your thoughts on this? Like, what do you think? You said something seems odd, and I see you questioning things. Like, what would you think, possibly, with what we know? You know what I mean? We don't know that much. That's the problem. I don't know if you found any more of them crazy articles, Eddie. If you see anything, I know you're probably looking because I know how you do things. But if you see anything, let me know, because something's just something don't fit right. And I'm trying to see. Was this new? Hold on. It seems like the stepdad spoke out a lot. Now, I don't know. And the mother spoke out that one time, but he's done it 2 or 3 different times. I've been wondering that too, Wisdom. Thank you. That's kind of what I was wondering. Is this really what went down that day, the 10 a.m. thing, when they realized, the story they've been told, but nothing yet, buddy. I figured you would be. Thank you. I don't know. I feel like I'm kind of there with you a little bit, Wisdom, just a little yet. Not fully, because I don't know what to think for some of this, but yeah.
Woods and fields searching for 6-year-old Lily and 4-year-old Jack Sullivan. Their stepfather, Daniel Martel, spends every evening conducting his own search.
As soon as I seen they were missing, I jumped right in the vehicle and I did every dirt road and searched every culvert.
The children are thought to have wandered away from their home in Lansdowne Station on Friday morning. Martel believes they were only gone for about 20 minutes before he and their mother noticed they were missing.
The very first day I wasn't around very much because I was just searching. I was running through the woods, screaming their name till my throat hurt.
Martel says the only concrete clue so far is a boot print found near the backyard of the property. RCMP haven't shared any additional evidence.
The officers and searchers on site are following up on anything that comes up that provides direction, provides specifics, and provides something that can be used to narrow the search.
As RCMP combed through woods and fields searching for 6-year-old Lily and 4-year-old Jack Sullivan, their stepfather Daniel Martel spends every...
Like I said, we've seen him speak out 2-3 times maybe now. We've seen her speak once. I don't know if that's because she can't, because of the trauma maybe, but it's still weird because they're not together now and they're not speaking. So something strange with that. Just saying, hey, Tomboy, welcome. You and the bird. Great to have you here. So it is an odd situation. I'll say that much, guys. And there's still, besides what we see, not a whole lot on this. It's very sad. It looks like Gisela picked this up. Thank God, because she does great stuff with this, with these things. Hang on here. I've been Googling articles and stuff too, and I don't see anything else. Oh, wait a minute. Hold on, this is different. If it will load. Come on. Come on. Is it gonna load? Hang on. Everything's doing its own slow thing again, guys. I'm sorry. We'll get there. Come on. Here we go. Okay, so this is the only time the mother has spoken in media that I can see or I can find.
Home. I want to hold them. And I want them home.
RCMP say there is still no sign of two siblings who are believed to have wandered away from their home in Pictou County. They were last seen around 10 a.m. on Friday in the community of Lansdowne Station. RCMP say the search is ongoing and multiple agencies are now involved.
I'm just staying as hopeful as possible. I want them home.
That's the only public statement I can find from her at this point. I saw something earlier about a video of the stepfather at the little boy's birthday. Is there a video of that, Tomboy? Okay, thank you. Oh, okay, I see. Well, we know we can only put so much faith into this channel, but we'll look at it either way. See what it says.
Lily and Jack Sullivan are still missing, and the search for them is underway. No one is giving up, and the truth shall come to light. Did they really walk out that back door? There are a number of red flags in the case from the mother and stepfather, and many believe that their versions are too reversed. Well, the mother has deleted her Facebook page, but we know that once things are put out on the internet, they are shared and screen recorded, especially in cases like this. Someone on Facebook screen grabbed this video before the mother's Facebook page was deleted. It shows little Jack's second birthday, and something that many online users are now discussing is the look of the stepfather. Lily starts screaming at the beginning of the video, and he just keeps staring at her. I won't say more, take a look for yourself.
Liam, come sing. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you.
Lily, stop, honey.
Blow it, go.
Oh.
Yay!
Yay!
Everybody's away.
Happy birthday!
Say happy birthday. Happy birthday. Yes. Lily just is.
All right. Well, I don't know if that means anything, you guys, but I don't know. I didn't take much from that. You know how some of the people out here are. They'll take everything and dissect it down and create something out of it. Who knows? But there was another, hold on a minute here. Like I said, I think the best we, yeah, Rick, I said that kids scream. That's what they do. People are, she was probably excited. They're singing. I mean, this is, my kids have done the same things. It doesn't mean anything. Hold on here. And just because he was looking at her per se, she was screaming. She was the, you know.
I know they took their boots.
Nope, wrong one. Hold on. I guess at some point the stepfather asked them to expand their search. But there was a video here that goes into that. I'm trying to find it here. Oh, Jesus. So, of course, forewarning, and I'm going to warn you all, if you're not familiar with him, don't even pay attention to anything. Joseph Morris put a video out, okay, on this. Don't even give him the view, folks. He's trash. He's probably the worst creator on YouTube, and he makes up and invents things regularly, so I wouldn't even bother with him. You know, I'm just telling you. Oh, God, Dolly, where's the babies? Of course he did that. I just don't get some of these people. I don't. Right, Wisdom. If you're not familiar with who Joseph Morris is, guys, I'm just giving you forewarning. All right, hold on here, Michelle.
Good morning, everyone.
Michelle did something on this yesterday. We'll see what her take is on this. Exactly, Tomboy, exactly. No, of course not, chick.
My name is Michelle. I hope you're doing well. Welcome to another video. It is Tuesday morning, the 6th of May. In this video, we're going to talk about the desperate search that has been going on since around 10 a.m. on Friday. So we're now into day 4 or day 5, depending on how you count it. All day Friday, Saturday, Sunday, Monday. Today will be day 5 if you count it Friday. 6-year-old Lily and 4-year-old Jack Sullivan went missing from their home on Gairloch Road, which is in the middle of absolutely nowhere in Nova Scotia, Canada. But specifically, they live in this area here between Lansdowne Road and Lansdowne Station Road. So it's this area where the search is focused. And the search has been extensive. RCMP have thrown everything at this, honestly. Everything. Now, there has been talk that search dogs very early on did get their scent, but it stopped at the road. So they followed the scent down the driveway and it stopped at the road, which fuels the parents' view that Lily and Jack have been abducted. However, law enforcement have said that there's no sign of an abduction, and their working theory is that Lily and Jack walked away and are in the woods somewhere. But I'm going to read from, this is the latest report I can find from CNN. Desperate search for 2 children missing in a rural part of Canada's Nova Scotia province has stretched into its 4th day, with dozens of rescuers combing dense woods in search of the siblings. And searchers have said that there's ticks, there's bugs, they're getting bitten, the dogs are getting bitten. Just really difficult, very hard to search. Dense woodland, difficult for a helicopter overhead to see what's going on. Drones have somewhat of a better visibility because they're more maneuverable, but they've thrown everything at this. They really have. So 6-year-old Lily and her brother Jack were seen Friday morning at their home in Pictou County, about 70 miles from province's capital city, Halifax, according to the RCMP. Police said on Saturday they believe the pair wandered away. In the days, more than 100, it's close to 200, I think, as well as helicopters, drones and dogs, have been scouring the heavy wooded area near their home for any clues of the siblings' whereabouts. It's been a few days, but that has not dampened the hopes of the search teams and the police who are here trying to get the kids home. Corporal Carly McCann, a spokesperson for the RCMP, told.
I'll be honest, guys. I have issues because of past experiences I've seen with RCMP in some ways. I'm not saying they're not doing their best on this, but there's a lot of things they've done in the past that didn't turn out very good. I'll just put it that way. So
CSN on Monday, or CBS. Search continued overnight Monday, so I'm recording this on Tuesday morning. It will still be overnight in Nova Scotia. So the search is ongoing. They're out there all night. You know, the heat-seeking technology is useful at night. And it started to rain, so it's just so difficult.
Again, based on the terrain, it's horrible. The fact that they've covered the ground that they have, the drones, the heat-seeking stuff Michelle just talked about, the helicopters, multiple, 3 of them that I know of, just on and on and on and on, and they haven't seen a thing. That bugs me a little bit. That makes me wonder, are they even there? Were they even there? That's where I start questioning things. And once, like I said, once Eddie brought that article and we saw that the mother left the stepfather and blocked him, didn't want anything to do with him. Something's wrong. Like either she thinks something, she knows something, and the one detective made a statement during the press conference that made me think they're looking into something specifically, something that happened Saturday morning, supposedly. I'm guessing. I don't know what that was. There's nothing put out there, but something went down Saturday morning per se, and I'm curious, and it makes me wonder if that's why the mother left. I don't know, you guys, but it makes me wonder, and it makes me what angle they're looking at with this now. And they're very clearly stating that they don't believe the kids are alive. I'm curious. I'm real curious. The undergrowth, the tree fall is so thick that adults cannot negotiate through terrain. 100%, Eddie. 100%. It's horrible. That's why they used all the drones and all the heat-seeking stuff to look for these things. So I'm curious. I'm real curious at this point where this is going. Which, of course, I'm sure at some point we'll finally know, but it's going to drive me insane because I'm still worried about these kids, you know. Definitely not abducted by aliens. Driven away, taken away, something like that, in my opinion, is what happened. They were either abducted at some point or somebody took them somewhere else. or did something to him, in my opinion. And I still think that the mother may have been asleep. The stepfather, was the one that was supposed to be awake and doing what he was doing and, in charge of the kids. And something went down there, possibly. I don't know. I don't know. And the speculation on this is just too much. So
difficult. And those two little kids out there, in the rain, it's cold at night, just horrible, horrible. Police said searchers spotted a footprint on Saturday and have expanded their search effort in that area. So, yeah, there was a footprint found, a child's.
all right, chick. 2 kids didn't vanish without a trace, even if they wandered off. This was a play. And I was saying, like, talking to Brandy about this too, not too long ago. Even if a predatory animal grabbed one of them, they would find some form of, like, a boot or clothing or something. Sadly, they would find something like that if there was a predatory animal that grabbed one of these kids, or both. And there's 2 of them. So that was the thing. You know what I mean? I don't know, you guys. I'm just saying.
Footprint. So they have reason to believe that Jack and Lily are out there, given that surely there's not many kids who go on.
All right, I'm going to pull up this other video Michelle did too. This is more updated.
Good morning, everyone. My name is Michelle.
Thank you, Tomboy. This is from 6 hours ago. This might give some answers. We'll see.
I hope you're doing well. Welcome to another video. It is Wednesday morning, the 7th of May.
A good point too, chick.
In this video, I want to continue my coverage into the missing siblings over in Canada. 6-year-old Lily and 4-year-old Jack Sullivan have been missing since Friday morning. And things are not looking good. They're really not. It's incredibly difficult terrain to search. The searchers are being bitten by ticks and bugs and scratched up. So I'm going to talk a little bit about the search and the latest and play a short video about what the drones can see. I also want to talk about Lily and Jack's parents, because a lot is being said. There's a lot of rumours, a lot of speculation, and some of that is true. So I want to address that in this video. So let's go. I am glad to see that more people are covering the case. I've seen a lot of YouTube videos now. A lot of YouTube creators are picking up on this case. When I first made my video about them over on my other channel, Michelle Walks, that was 3 days ago. Just a short video just to highlight that they're missing. No one was covering it apart from local news. So I'm glad that more people are picking up on it. But let's first talk about the search. And I'm reading this from CBC. And there's a couple of videos embedded within this that I want to play. Helicopters were back in the sky Tuesday as upwards of 150 searchers scoured the wooded areas below for 2 children who are believed to have wandered away from their home in Nova Scotia's Pictou County 5 days ago. So this will be either day 5 or day 6, depending on how you're counting it. If you count Friday, because they went missing Friday morning, then you're looking at the beginning of day 6. The search started last Friday morning when it's believed 6-year-old Lily Sullivan and 4-year-old Jack Sullivan strayed from their home on Gaylord Road in Lansdowne Station.
That's one thing I have to agree. Is I can't imagine kids wandering off in the rain. They'd be uncomfortable, I would think. I don't know. That's a good point. My brother and I were 2 years apart. He was older, but if an animal attacked one of us, the other one would go look for help, I assure you. I mean, I would think, but they're 4 and 6. We don't know. I don't know.
About 25 kilometres southwest of New Glasgow. Now, the police, their working theory is that Lily and Jack wandered away, but that has to be only on the word of the parents. That's the problem. It's so rural. I mean, look, it's incredibly unlikely that the cops will be helped by modern technology like surveillance cameras. The place is incredibly rural. So this is where Lily and Jack live, and we'll go down to ground level in a few minutes to...
Look, If this is the main road, this is the main road that I showed on that one video that runs by. This is nothing but woods, you guys. This is so rural, okay? Wooded areas. There's a river or creeks, I think, over here, okay? But this is nothing but woods and trees, period. I mean, I get it, but still. And they're tiny. So, I don't know.
Look at the property itself. This is Gerlach Road. Police are pursuing all investigative avenues, and there's a variety of teams involved who are applying the tools and skills and the expertise needed to locate and bring Lily and Jack home. RCMP spokesperson Corporal Carly McCann told reporters Tuesday afternoon. This does remain a missing persons investigation. McCann would not say if there's been any sign of the children, but she stressed that police were following up on all information as it comes in. Now, there was talk, and the children's grandmother reported children's footprints were found. Now, there's a couple of different stories about this. So one was it was close, very close to the home, which would be understandable because Lily and Jack live there, so they play out. And the other was that this was on a natural gas pipeline. So were they footprints from the missing children, or were they footprints from previous, before they went missing? I guess is the thing that people are asking. And search dogs did track their scent down the driveway to the road, but then lost the scent. So again, that could be that Lily and Jack's scent is literally everywhere on that property, and they run up and down that driveway. I'm not that convinced that that information is really useful, honestly. Staff Sergeant Josh Weiss, the incident commander at the site, said searchers, including people who've been on the scene since day one, are exhausted but optimistic. We want to bring these two children home to their parents, he told reporters. This is all search and rescue does, is try to bring people home safely. So they're trying to stay on focus, and they're trying to stay on mission. RCMP said drones were in the air late Monday and into Tuesday in the rural community in the province's northeast. So I'm going to play this video here, 2.5 minutes, about how drones are used to search for missing children. This is really informative.
When someone goes missing, search and rescue teams kick into high gear, and new technology is starting to be used across the country to help in these searches. The RCMP have what's called forward-looking infrared, or FLIR technology. It's a kind of thermal imaging that detects heat signatures. In cases of missing persons, it can be used to find body heat in a forest.
And we use, I'll be honest with you guys, that FLIR technology, which you're seeing right here. When I was first responder with the fire service, when we would do our STAR missions and our trainings, we used the FLIR stuff a lot. It's the best thing to use, especially at nighttime, because you're going to find a true, what they call a true to real heat signature if there's somebody's alive. Okay, that right there, it'll show up like that. And if not, it has the ability to show up blue too, but that means that it's not alive per se, depending on what unit they're using. But it's the best thing to use. And if they're using FLIR technology via drones and or when they're walking, you know what I mean, it'll show it at a good distance, guys. So if they're doing this and they're still not coming up with anything, they're not there, in my opinion. That's all I'm saying.
Been an incredible tool for us. We've had at least 2 finds with thermal imaging of subjects, and it just gives us the ability to operate in the dark.
The technology is often attached to a remotely piloted aircraft or drone, so it can
also, so everybody understands the technology of those. We've used those inside of house fires. Even though a house fire, the heat of it, it'll still pick up, because a human heat signature is different than what a fire would be. It'll show it in a different way. And we've been able to find people inside houses that are burning with those things too. They're very through walls, guys. It's like the best technology out there. I believe they used it for Sebastian Rogers as well. But with the drone coverage with it, and they're using the FLIR cameras above looking down, and that will pick up a wide expanse of area with those, which is, again, knowing what I've seen on the map that they put out of where they searched, they're not out there, guys. If they are out there, they're hidden underneath something or in a cave or something like that, which I didn't see too many caves when I looked at the map too, but you never know. I'm just saying they used them, okay? And they've been using them from the beginning on this, especially at the night. That's why they kept people there at night, because it'd be easier to find them at night with that FLIR technology than during the day. So it's absolutely amazing. And any search that goes on for anyone, it's the best technology to use these days, in my opinion. So I'll shut up now. I'm sorry.
Can scan specific areas and feed that information back to the operator on the ground. The operator will then analyze the footage and identify certain colors that may or may not be the missing person. Baldwin says it works really well in the winter because a person's body heat stands out. But he says it's more challenging during the summer months.
As we move into spring, summer here, we will be relying more on our visual camera for searching because the treetops, rocks, things like that retain heat, and they are very close in temperature to a person, and it makes it very hard to distinguish what you're looking at in the image.
Baldwin says the technology isn't capable of seeing heat underground or in the water, and tree cover can also hinder search efforts.
Drones are excellent for searching regions where it's hard to access on foot, cliffy areas, deep drainages, but where their obstacles come in is actually the canopy of the trees, so how dense the forest is. As we move into the spring here, everything's greening up. That makes it harder to penetrate to the forest floor. So that's where it is possible to fly over someone and not see them.
So while the technology is a helpful tool, he says nothing will replace on-the-ground searchers.
The most success you have is people on the ground calling out and getting a response.
Good point, Noel. Good point.
That by far has been the most successful way we've found people. But why not have drones in the air? Why not have helicopters? Why not use every tool available? Because it just does increase your range and the number of eyes on the scene.
Cassidy Chisholm, CBC News, Halifax.
So that's interesting. Talks about the limitations of drone searching. And people who are not familiar with missing person searches, I think, overestimate the capacity for technology to find people. This technology, as that drone operator said, is...
These are the problems when they were looking for summer wells. These are the problems they ran into in her area where they were looking, because it was so overgrown with trees, mass amounts of trees and things, bushes and stuff. It was near impossible. What they could use, they did, but they didn't have a lot of luck with it then.
Is really good in open areas. It can cover a lot of ground very quickly. It can indicate colours and signatures on the ground that then ground searchers can go and really hone in on that area. But under a large canopy of very dense woodland like they have in that area, drones could so easily miss 2 children, and they're looking for heat signatures. Now, unfortunately, if Lily and Jack have passed away, then by now their body heat is going to be the same as the surrounding area, so they're not going to be able to pick up deceased people at this point. It doesn't look good, it really doesn't. But they're pulling out all the stops, and I give them massive kudos for the amount of work that's being put in here. That technology is useful at night because the ground searchers, they have to stop at some point when it becomes too dangerous, but that technology can carry on throughout the night. And McCann said drones are effective at night because they use forward-looking infrared technologies to spot differences in temperature, which can point people towards a specific area for ground searches. As I said, if a person's deceased and they've been deceased for a few days, then their body temperature is not going to stand out above the ground temperature. As the drone zipped overhead in the night sky, roughly 60 specially trained ground searchers and rescue members were combing the area below. The number of searchers swells to roughly 150 during the daytime hours. Police dogs have been assisting in the search, and it's also the first time the Nova Scotia Guard, a provincially organised volunteer group, has been deployed. The public has been asked to stay away as crews conduct their work. The children's stepdad, Daniel Martel, he has been out there, and a lot of people have got a lot of criticism of what Daniel is saying. People are pointing out that he's not really crying. His story is inconsistent with that of the children's mother, who spoke to reporters on Saturday. I played her interview in my video yesterday, so go and check that out. But he's 33. He was married previously, and he has 2 children with that first marriage. And I've heard, this may just be a rumour, that Daniel's family are still in contact. They still get on with his first wife. So I don't know whether they're that keen on Malaya, Jack and Lily's mother. But there was a big fight that kicked off on Saturday. So the 33-year-old man, that's Daniel, said Lily came into the bedroom several times and he could hear Jack in the kitchen. Then both of them say that the children must have opened the sliding door in the back, which is almost silent, and left. Now, look, a 6-year-old and a 4-year-old, possibly both on the autism spectrum. Their mother says that they're on the autism spectrum. I don't know whether that's an official diagnosis or not, who have a little grasp of stranger danger. I've got a problem with them being allowed to play on their own when it's known that the sliding glass doors at the back can be opened easily and the children can just go away without them realizing. I've got a problem with that. Why not put a lock on the door? Simple. It doesn't indicate to me that the
Yes,
parents
ma'am.
did anything to the kids, but it does indicate perhaps that Lily and Jack are maybe used to going out and given a lot of freedom, and if the kids are up and about playing, what are the parents doing in the bedroom going back to sleep? Now, they've got a baby, so maybe the baby's up in the night and whatever, but, you know, there's
Thank
2
you,
of them.
Noel. I will check it
One
out.
of them got up and looked after Lily and Jack. So I don't know whether I want to say there's some neglect here. There's rumours about drug use. I don't know whether that's true or not, but I've got a bad feeling about this. I do. I really do. All right. So Martel said investigators with the RCMP's Major Crimes Unit spoke to him a few days ago and spoke with members of his family on Monday. Said he believes the children were abducted. Both of the parents here think that the children were abducted, but the cops have said there's no sign of an abduction. But what sign would there be? If they were walking along Gaylord Road and somebody just grabbed them and put them in a car, what signs would there be? All right, I'm going to play this. This is only a short clip. And this is Daniel. And he does seem to be talking to the press quite a bit and getting a lot of flack for it.
I'm out here still searching, still fighting to try to find them. That's all I can do. The message is still, if anyone knows anything. If anybody knows anything, just come forward as soon as possible. 2 little kids are still out there. I want to find them. So really all I can do. Still searching every day. I'm waiting for information. I have to let them do a lot of their stuff with the aircrafts and everything else, and dogs and searchers. There's a lot of stuff that needs to be coordinated, and I can't just go running through the woods. I want to, but I just can't right now because the search is just so far out.
Now, people are saying, you know, he's pretending to cry and there's no tears. Well, I'm reserving judgment, but I've got a bad feeling. I do. So the RCMP were taking statements from the very start. They just want to rule everything out before they switch from being, you know, search and rescue to abduction. I think it's more likely they'd switch from search and rescue to an investigative phase where they're investigating the people closest to the children, actually. I think that's more likely what they're doing.
I think it might be a scar,
remember,
Noel.
all missing persons cases where you've got this unusual set of circumstances, like 2 kids going missing at the same time, so young as well, and there's absolutely no sign of them that we know about, apart from a bit of scent and possibly some footprints. which may or may not have been from the time they disappeared. You also have this parallel investigation going on. Now, at some point, and it's probably going to be in the next few days, that big swell of ground searchers will start to decrease, and the investigation phase will be the primary. You know, if they are out there somewhere, it's likely to be a recovery mission, less urgent. Obviously, the urgency is recovering them alive, but once it's deemed that time has been sufficient that they couldn't possibly be alive in the woods, then it's a recovery mission, less urgent, and the investigation really kicks up a gear. And that's where major crimes units come in. And they will explore all possibilities. One of those possibilities will be abduction, but the big possibility will be that these children were harmed in some way. We have to say it as it is, harmed in some way by the people closest to them. Now, a lot is being said about Lily and Jack being off school. Now, I think Lily was in school on Monday. I've heard that they were off the rest of the week, so Tuesday, Wednesday,
Welcome,
Thursday,
Circus Music.
Friday. Others have said that they were just off Thursday, Friday. Now, Daniel works at a sawmill and he was also off work on Friday. So, what going on here? When asked on Tuesday if Major Crimes Unit is involved, an RCMP spokesperson said a variety of teams are working on the missing persons investigation in order to provide tools, skills, and resources as necessary. Daniel Martel said after the disappearance, the children's mother left the area to be with her family in another part of the province and has blocked him on social media. Now, the reason being was her family and his family had a kickoff on Saturday night, and apparently people who were listening to the scanners, it came over the scanner that there was a domestic disturbance at the property. So this is what Daniel said about it. My mother had to kick some people off the property because they were saying that I did it. Did what is the question. I had something to do with it, and I'm the only one here fighting for them, which is sad, he said. The children's mother, Malaya Brooks Murray, told CTV on Saturday that she was trying to stay hopeful. I want to hold them, I want them home, she said. But then, the same day, she left to be with her family on a reservation some miles away, because it all kicked off, and Daniel's mother, I assume whose property they're living on, kicked them off. And Malaya has took the baby. Now, some are saying that CPS is involved. I don't know whether that's true or not. So now that's the trailer that Jack and Lily were living in, but there is another structure behind this. So I think that's where his mother lives. I don't know how big this property is, if anybody knows.
Good God, you guys, this is out in the middle of nowhere. Okay, nowhere. This is crazy.
So let me know. But apparently, dogs track them down this driveway. It's not a long driveway, but lost it. Apparently, that's what's being said. But yeah, domestic disturbance. So it all kicked off. And Malaya's family are blaming Daniel. But why? Is there problems in that family to begin with? Again, I'm reserving judgment. Robert Parker, the warden of the municipality of Pictou County, said everyone is hoping and praying for good news. But as the days pass, we are wondering what's going to happen next. He described the mood in the region of roughly 43,000 people as tense. No one is giving up. He told CBC's Information Mornng Nova Scotia on Tuesday morning. These children have almost become everybody's children in this county. Parker noted it's human nature to jump to conclusions, but he's urged the public to temper their comments, especially on social media. Oh, there's a lot of comments, and it's going to get worse. People are saying this is the Canadian version of Summer Wells, and honestly, I can see some parallels with the Summer Wells case. That's not good, is it? There's always people who want to say something that's hurtfully said. We have to remember kindness. And I'll go with that. But again, I'm reserving judgment. Martel said Jack is in pre-primary and Lily is in primary. They were not at school on Friday because Lily had a cough, and they were also homesick from school on Thursday. But we have heard that they were potentially off Tuesday, Wednesday as well. So people are saying, well, maybe something happened to them earlier in the week, and this is now a story that they're using to cover this up. And We can't discount anything at this stage. He said Brooks Murray is a stay-at-home mom and he works at a local sawmill, but work has slowed down in recent weeks and he was not at work on Friday. So is there financial problems in the family? Maybe that's causing some issues. Pair of a young daughter together. Martel said she's currently with her mother on the reservation. He said Jack and Lily are not just siblings, they're like best friends. Jack loves bugs and dinosaurs and Lily loves girly things. So that's an informative article. And there's a lot in there to consider. I'm not going to blame the parents for anything like murder. I don't see that there's evidence of that. However, there clearly are issues here. And is that, even if it's indirectly, the cause of these two children going missing? We have to keep a very open mind, I think. Yes, there's a possibility they've wandered away and they haven't been found because the woodland is just so dense. But how far really could they have got? Yeah, a 6-year-old and a 4-year-old. We do have to remember that kids can walk a long way. Do you remember this that I put on Michelle Walks a couple of weeks ago? This little toddler, his 2-year-old, walked 7 miles in the Arizona wilderness before being found by a rancher's dog, good old Buford, the rancher's dog, who took this little kid and brought him to safety. He walked 7 miles, way outside of a search area. I think they're doing a 2.2 mile radius in Lily and Jack's case. Well, that's 2.2 miles of very dense woodland. And this kid in Arizona, yes, it's wilderness. There's plenty of dangers, and mountain lions and coyotes and things. It's not dense woodland. Dense woodland, you struggle to walk a few yards without being prickled and bitten. And I don't know that Lily and Jack could have got that far. So we do have to keep an open mind, a really open mind, that literally all things are. Good morning, everyone. My name is Michelle. I hope you're doing well. Welcome to another video. It is Tuesday morning.
Okay, so that was the other video she was putting out that we were watching the first time. Thank you, Tomboy. Hang on a minute. From what I can tell, that's it for sure for right now. Again, all we can do is hope and pray. And God, Lord, I pray something good comes out of this. I really do. Simply Solo Circus Music, thanks for being here. I appreciate you. Let me see. Let me check my mail again. Oh, okay. Go for our crazy news. I can use that. If that's what you emailed me, Noel, it's quite interesting. All right, let's get on to our next. Again, I'm going to keep following this as much as I can and see what we can come up with here. Moving on to our next story. This is going to be loud, guys, as compared to all that other stuff. This is in regards to the New England situation. Vinny did a whole update on this just a few hours back. So here we go. And again, thank you all for tuning in today. Simply Solo, Circus Music, Noel, all of you guys, thank you so much for joining us, guys. Share this out if you will. Let everybody know what we're looking into today. And again, just keep your Lily and Jack in your thoughts and prayers, guys. That's all we can do. Truly, that's all we can do.
I'm Vinny Politan. The subject of my investigation, a series of bodies turning up in New England. And with each new discovery, the level of fear and speculation is growing in the community. And now everyone's wondering if there's a serial killer. Here's the story. A shroud of fear has settled over New England as a grim trail of death weaves through its serene landscapes. It began with the grim discovery of a woman found dead in a Connecticut river. Weeks later, another
Welcome,
in a wooded
Raquel.
area
Good to see you today,
outside
dear.
of Portsmouth, New Hampshire. Then, in Hartford, Connecticut, a woman's body discovered beneath a bridge, cold and lifeless, bearing strange markings authorities have not explained. Now, from Maine to Rhode Island, whispers spread like wildfire. This is no coincidence. Locals are fearing a serial killer stalks the Northeast, choosing victims with chilling precision. Each scene eerily clean. No signs of a struggle. No connections between the dead. Just silence, mystery, and a mounting panic. Social media is burning with speculation. Is it a former cop, a drifter, a cult? Police have issued some statements, but have revealed very little. Is this just a series of unconnected cases or something else? The region holding its breath, wondering if evil is hiding in plain sight. As more bodies surface, one terrifying question grows louder and louder. Who will be next? It's scary. It's absolutely scary when there are bodies turning up and everyone is wondering, you know, the world that we live in. So at this point, take a look at this map, because this sort of lays it out. We say New England, but you can see where all these locations are: Norwalk, New Haven. You've got them in Groton, in Foster, in
Welcome,
Springfield.
Satsy.
Some of the areas where 5 of the bodies have been found, and these are 5 of the bodies that have been identified, which brings us to the first question in our investigation tonight. What do we know about these cases? What facts are out there? If you're trying to see if there's a pattern or something, you need to get the facts of the case. And that's what we're going to do tonight in this program. Joining us, Court TV field reporter Cody Thomas and host and creator of Rhode Island Patrol, John DePietro, is with us. Cody joining us tonight. Cody, I know you've been on the road visiting all of these sites. Let's start with Norwalk, Connecticut. What do we know about what happened in Norwalk and what we found out about the victim here?
Well, of course, Vinny, there have been 8 bodies found across New England, mostly women, some unidentified, that have sparked those alleged serial killer rumors. And of course, I've been to just about all of those locations. Beginning in early March, that was when the first body was recovered in Norwalk. Take a look at me at the location. Rumors of the suspected New England serial killer all began in early March right here on Shanks Island in Norwalk, Connecticut. That is when police responded and recovered the body of 35-year-old Paige Fannin. This is actually, according to locals that we talked to here, where her clothing and personal items were found once police responded. Now, Paige was missing from West Islip, New York. She was down here visiting. Again, that was the spot where her personal belongings were found. And ultimately, that early March day, police searched with drones, with all their personnel, and eventually recovered her body from here in the Norwalk River. And of course, Vinny, that was a public park, a lot of foot traffic. There's people walking their dogs while we were there, out, some having their casting rods in the river fishing. So it's quite odd that she could just kind of vanish into thin air like that. It's sad and unfortunate.
And was there anything else that was significant about the victim? Anything we know about the victim and why she may have been in that area?
It's unclear at this time, Vinny. Again, she was from West Islip, New York. Her clothing and personal items were found right there, 35 years old. Unclear as to why exactly she was at that particular location on Shanks Island where the Norwalk River was. But again, unfortunately, that's where her body was recovered from.
All right, I want to go to one more, Cody. New Haven, Connecticut. What have you found out about New Haven, Connecticut?
Well, Vinny, that is where 59-year-old Denise Leary was found in a wooded area just a little bit away from her house. She had been missing for months. Take a look at this location. Now, this brings us here to New Haven, Connecticut, here in the 100 block of Rock Creek Road. Now, this area is where another one of the identified bodies, 59-year-old Denise Leary, was found. Denise had been missing since September of 2024. Her body was found in late March of 2025 in this heavily wooded area. She actually lived on this street, and in fact, she had settled with her family in Atlanta, Georgia for a bit of time, but moved back up here to New Haven in 2022 to take care of her mother who had had a stroke. But again, another one of the identified bodies found right here in this wooded area. And Vinny, with this particular victim, I actually spoke with a spokesperson for New Haven Police about the investigation. Take a listen to what he had to say.
She had some pretty severe mental health diagnoses that she was suffering from. Until we can definitively say, what killed her, we have to consider all options. But there's no indication from our perspective that Denise Leary was murdered.
And Vinny, you heard it right there. No word exactly her cause and manner of death. And he did also tell me that they are respectfully, allowing the family their privacy and not releasing too many details to the public as of right now.
All right, John DePietro, Rhode Island Patrol Live. Your thoughts about what is happening here in Norwalk and in New Haven? What do you think about these two particular cases?
Benny, the thing about this is, and people need to understand maybe other parts of the country, but Amtrak calls this the Northeast Corridor. And it's a heavily traveled area where you start in New York and then you start to come north through Connecticut and into Rhode Island and then Massachusetts. And there's a lot of heavy traffic between, New York and Boston for a variety of different reasons. As far as the New Haven one, I was aware of that search. We do missing persons, and I was aware of that one. Two things about this that really stand out. The first one, someone visiting from Long Island, and then they turn up in a pretty public place, and it's still rather odd. As far as the New Haven one, that was a long time that she was missing and then found not that far from her home. So I've spoken to a number of people in the area. There's a lot of speculation that is it possible that she wasn't initially where she was found and maybe placed there. But you hit it, Vinny, at the very top by saying this has become a full-fledged panic. Everywhere I go, people are contacting me, asking me about it, whether it's in Massachusetts or Rhode Island or in Connecticut. All right, Cody, let's continue and following your travels in the last few days. Groton, Connecticut, what can you tell us about that location?
Well, yeah, Vinny, this one was a little more gruesome than the rest. 58-year-old Suzanne Wormser, now identified, was found in Colonel Ledyard Cemetery. Take a look at this location. And now this brings us here to Groton, Connecticut, here at Colonel Ledyard Cemetery. Now, the interesting thing about the victim and the body found at this location was that it was found dismembered in a suitcase. A passerby was walking down the sidewalk, noticed for a couple of weeks this suitcase sitting in the same spot, not moving. She thought it was suspicious. She called authorities. Authorities then came, noticed the suitcase.
This case, they believe, is completely separate, and it is a domestic violence situation. They believe they have the guy for this one, so this one I can kind of say is separate from the rest, in my opinion.
Zip the suitcase to ultimately find that body, later identified as 58-year-old Suzanne Wormser. Now, the interesting thing about this particular victim, there has been an arrest made. 68-year-old Donald Koffel was arrested in late April and charged with her murder, and authorities say the two were roommates. And Vinny, this is actually the only one with an arrest made in relation to the body and death.
Yeah, and there's a connection between the victim and the suspect in the case. So that I kind of understand that one. Tell me about Foster, Rhode Island.
Yeah, Vinny, this is where 56-year-old Michelle Romano was found in a wooded area. She had been missing since August of 2024 in a kind of secluded wooded area as well. Take a look. This now brings us here to this road. This road is Plainfield Pike here in Foster, Rhode Island. This is also the site where now identified 56-year-old Michelle Romano's remains were found. Now, she had been missing since August of 2024. And interesting about this one, it's being investigated by the Rhode Island State Police as a suspicious death because her family doesn't believe that she just up and died. Her remains were found in late March. Now, of course, Vinny, that investigation is still ongoing, but you just heard me right there. It is being investigated as suspicious.
John DePietro, what can you tell us about what happened in Foster, Rhode Island?
Well, this one, Vinny, I definitely know. 3 years ago, a woman went missing from Warwick, Rhode Island, Charlotte Lester. I went very heavy on that case. Charlotte's body was found this past November, less than a year ago, by a hunter. Her remains were found there in a shallow grave. There was an arrest made. Because of my work on the Lester case, I started dealing with Michelle Romano's family last fall. We did a series of videos, Vinny, in October, November, trying to draw awareness to the case. And then suddenly she is found there now. And he's exactly right in Foster. Now, I've heard that it was in a ravine that she was found and by someone that was just out on a nature walk. So they found her. They revealed that the remains were identified positively as Michelle on Monday. On Tuesday, I was at the house where she had been staying in Warwick. And Vinny, for 2 days, the state police tore that place apart. Right now, there's still been no arrest. They continue to say it's a suspicious death. But something that's really important is there's a couple things. Number one, there's no way she walked there. It's far that somehow the question is, how did she get there? How did she end up there? Also, state police put out a bulletin. They're looking for video footage. That's a kind of a desolate area where she was found off of. Looking for any video footage, but only from February and March. So that leads to speculation. Is it possible that she had been taken somewhere else and lost her life and then placed there? This certainly got a lot of attention simply because we've been trying to build momentum for her disappearance.
Absolutely. All right, we have one more I want to get to right now. Springfield, Massachusetts, Cody.
Yeah, Vinny, 45-year-old Megan Meredith found unresponsive in a heavily populated area, Vinny, just about a block away from the NBA Hall of Fame. Take a look. Here now in Springfield, Massachusetts, right here on Hall of Fame Avenue. The Basketball Hall of Fame is just behind me over that building. Now, if you look over here to my left, that is the bike path where victim 45-year-old Megan Meredith was found by authorities unresponsive in late April. Now, the key about this case is it's actually being investigated as a homicide, but with no word on arrests just yet. And again, her body was found in late April. And Vinny, while I was there with as heavily populated as it was, with all the foot traffic going on, with her being found in broad daylight unresponsive, it makes sense as to why it's being investigated as a homicide case.
Absolutely. And that location a little different than the rest. And that's interesting. All right. Cody and John are going to stay with us. When we come back, we're going to take a look at the unidentified bodies. What do we know about those cases?
There have been, from my understanding, at this point, 12 bodies, folks. 12. 12. That's a lot. I mean, one is too many, but 12? Something ain't right. Something's not right.
We want to catch that person.
Just look at that touch.
1 through 5 where the victims have been identified. I want to take a look at 3 of the cases where the bodies have not been identified. Let me show you on the map where they were found, where they were recovered. 2 in Massachusetts, Framingham and Plymouth, and 1 in Killingly, Connecticut. But as you know, in New England, the state's seemingly overlap with one another as you look at the area we're talking about. So this brings us to the next question in our investigation involving these three cases. What do we know about these cases where the bodies have not been identified? Still with us, Court TV field reporter Cody Thomas, who's been on the road in New England tracking all the locations here, and John DePietro as well, host and creator of Rhode Island Patrol Live. Okay, Cody, what can you tell us about Plymouth, Massachusetts?
That's where the Pilgrims landed. That's what I know.
Well, of course, many of those remains unidentified, and they were found in a wooded area off of State Highway 3 in Massachusetts. Take a look at this location. So now we're here in Plymouth, Massachusetts, right off of Route 3. You can see the cars going down the state highway here behind me across that bridge. Now it's in this area that a hunter says he was walking through a wooded area tracking deer. Then he came across some bones that he initially thought were animal bones. But after he looked at them further, he noticed they were a little more rounded than what he'd seen in previous animal bones. So then he called authorities, and once authorities came out, they determined that those remains were a human skull. And those remains were also found in March. And again, Vinny, no word on any identification there just yet. And also, Vinny, unidentified remains found in Killingley, Connecticut. We haven't made it there just yet, but authorities say that those remains are likely a woman. So there's a possible lead there.
John DePietro, let me ask you about Killingley, Connecticut. What do you know about that location and what was discovered?
Vinny, what's interesting about that is several things. First of all, it was only about 10 miles away from where the remains were found of Michelle Romano, right over the Rhode Island, Connecticut line, and actually even about 10 days after Michelle had been found. Now, Killingley is not that far from two major casinos. I've talked to police. You know, casinos can be very transient. Certain people, if someone wanted to go and meet someone or pick someone up, casinos they're open 24/7. So as much as some of these are desolate, the situation in Killingley is it's not that far from two casinos. And something else, Vinny, that people should understand is many times, and I don't want to be gruesome, but medical examiners that I've spoken to, when they're trying to determine that if someone is buried for a long time, and again, not to be grotesque or so forth, but animals can sometimes come into play. And so the question becomes, was the person dismembered by the individual when they disappeared, or is it just because they've been out there and then the wilderness takes over? But the element of Killingley that really caught people's attention is just how close it was to Michelle Romano's remains. I mean, two women, 10 days apart and very, very close. Very, very unusual, if not unprecedented.
And again, it's something that when the public hears this, they're going to be a little alarmed and saying, you know, what is going on here? Cody, tell us about Framingham now.
Well, Vinny, what's interesting about this particular case is that these remains were found almost accidentally off of the Massachusetts Turnpike. Take a look. We're
Lord,
here
this
now
guy's
in
everywhere.
Framingham, Massachusetts, right here on the Massachusetts Turnpike on exit 117 to be exact. Now, and this wooded brush behind me is where authorities say they found an unidentified body. They were responding to a brush fire back here in this wooded area when they say they came across the remains. Now, they say information gathered immediately from the scene does not actually suggest foul play, but even then, an investigation is still underway. So, Vinny, we have 8 bodies, all in these distinct, unique locations, some of them being investigated as suspicious, some being investigated as a homicide, one with an arrest. Very strange things going on up here in New England.
Let me ask you, Cody, from your perspective, because you're traveling from location to location to location, overall, was there any sort of common denominator in the majority of these locations where you went?
Vinny, the only thing I noticed, of course, they were spread out hours and miles apart, but I noticed that a handful of them were found in wooded areas. That's the only real common denominator that I found, and right off of roads also, wooded areas that are right off of roads or state highways and things like that. So that was the foundation of almost every single one that I saw.
All right, if we could put up on the screen where the 8 locations are, and John DePietro, from your perspective, you're a native, you're from this area. What does this tell you when you look at all of these locations? Does it tell a story at all, or is it seemingly random? Is there any sort of nexus among these locations?
Anyway, what's so unusual about this is, number one, just that you're talking about, look at, that's not a large area. And you're exactly right. The states do overlap. But as I've talked to the different police, something that comes into play is all of these different victims, for the most part, not all, but they all have different law enforcement agencies enforcing them. If it was a bigger state, if it was Florida, Texas, Michigan, California, you'd probably have, one unit. But you have all these different police organizations that are investigating this. Now, I have found that normally they don't always communicate with a lot of different crime. They've started to communicate now because they want to make sure that something isn't slipping through the cracks. If there is something that does link in, as I said.
That's what my first thought was, Michelle, because of the majority of them being found off of like large freeways or turnpikes per se in wooded areas. That would be, ample opportunity right there. Welcome, by the way. It's good to see you today. That was my thought too.
Said the corridor of New York to Boston, Vinny, there are people sometimes that use it as a crime wave and they just come through these New England states. Many of the towns where these are found, they are somewhat sleepy towns. You don't have very aggressive police forces. They don't deal with a lot of that. So right now, I think the remains that have not been identified, that's what's really sparking the most interest from both the public and the police.
Absolutely. Well, John DePietro, we appreciate your time and your insight. We know we're going to call on you again. Cody Thomas on the case for us, as always, bringing us the facts. Cody, thank you so much. Up next, we're going to bring in some of our experts who study the minds of these types of killers and ask the question, are these cases potentially connected? I'm Vinny Politan. We continue our investigation of the series of bodies that have turned up in New England. It's incredibly tragic, but now increasingly scary for the community. People are wondering, what is going on? Who is responsible? And most importantly, is there a serial killer on the loose? Court TV field reporter Cody Thomas is on the case and visited the death scenes in New England. Let's take a look.
Rumors of the suspected New England serial killer all began in early March right here on Shanks Island in Norwalk, Connecticut. That is when police responded and recovered the body of 35-year-old Paige Fannin. Now, this brings us here to New Haven, Connecticut. This area is where another one of the identified bodies, 59-year-old Denise Leary, was found. And now this brings us here to Groton, Connecticut. Now, the interesting thing about the victim and the body found at this location was that it was found dismembered in a suitcase. This now brings us here to this road. This road is Plainfield Pike here in Foster, Rhode Island. This is also the site where now identified 56-year-old Michelle Romano's remains were found. Now it's in this area that a hunter says he was walking
This is quite interesting, Noel.
tracking deer. Then he came across some bones. Here now in Springfield, Massachusetts, right here on Hall of Fame Avenue. The Basketball Hall of Fame is just behind me over that building. Now, if you look over here to my left, that is the bike path where victim 45-year-old Megan Meredith was found by authorities unresponsive in late April. And this wooded brush behind me is where authorities say they found an unidentified body. They were responding to a brush fire. An investigation is still underway.
It's kind of jarring when you think about it that way. It's almost overwhelming, which is why the community is absolutely concerned. Take a look. The bodies here found across 3 different states, early March to late April. That's not a long time. Like, bodies are popping up each week, it seems. Some victims were not from the area where they were found. One was found dismembered in a suitcase at a cemetery, and others were found near roads and near woods and water as well. And that brings us to an incredibly important question in our investigation.
Welcome,
Are
Allison.
these cases potentially connected?
Welcome, Candy Girl.
That's what everyone wants to know. Are they connected? Could one person, one or more, be responsible for what's happening in maybe not all, but perhaps a majority of these cases?
I'll bet it is, Allison. That's the scary thing, as most people would be. Thank you both, Allison and Candy Girl. Thank you for joining us. I know I have to sing it for you. I appreciate you both very much, and I'm interested in your thoughts on this.
Joining us, author and professor. She has spent decades studying the criminal mind and works with the Cold Case Foundation and has been studying these cases as well. Ann Burgess is with us, and clinical and forensic psychologist, researcher, expert on violent crime, and the author of The New Evil, who has also been looking at all of these cases, Dr. Gary Brucato. Thank you both
Thank
for
you,
being
Allison.
here.
I appreciate you too.
Okay, are these cases potentially connected? Ann Burgess,
Always, Candy.
what do you think?
Well, what I think is that they certainly are suspicious for being a either being what we call signature crimes or linked crimes, and it has some patterns in terms of where they're found. I think that all or almost all of the cases are found by somebody else rather than people that are out looking for them. That's very interesting and very important, which suggests, could they have been moved? Could they have died in one place and then moved to another place? In fact, one of the cases, it's a fair length of distance between where
I think she was headed in the Arizona area, Mittens. I could be wrong. It's been so long since I've looked at Chelsea's case. I'll have to go back and get it for sure, but I will look. And that's a great question. Thank you for bringing that up. Thank you. That's for obvious reasons. Great point. I'll have to double check it though. Thank you so much for putting that in my head, Mittens. Thank you. Thank you for being here.
they feel she was last seen and where she was found.
Welcome,
so those are all
Carolyn.
important in the location. The age is also interesting. They range from the women from 30.
Right. She was last seen in Arizona, but she was supposedly on her way to Connecticut. Amen. Good point. I thought it was something like that. I couldn't remember, but I couldn't remember if it was Connecticut or if it was somewhere else. But thank you. Very good points. So there you go. Once again, interesting perspective.
35 to close to 60. That's a little bit older than we normally see on some of these linkage cases, but those are all factors to be considered.
Dr. Gary Brucato, what are you seeing in terms of any connections or lack of connections?
What I think is very interesting is that this case or series of cases has the potential.
Absolutely, Mittens. It's worth looking at least to figure out for sure. You know what I'm saying? It's worth the thought because of how that all worked out. So no worries. I appreciate the thought.
To be a little bit of a cautionary tale with regard to case linkage. I think what's interesting about it is that some of the cases with a little bit more information may turn out to be
Welcome,
related,
CJ. Good to see you
and
today.
some of them may not. Some of the cases, for example, smack more of what we see in things that turn out to be unrelated homicides. For example, there's been someone arrested in the suitcase incident. And in that case, where there was reportedly a confession, it was apparently
What's up,
about
Walt?
cocaine,
Good to see you, brother.
a
Thank you for
financial
joining
matter
us.
related to cocaine and cocaine crimes. We
Exactly,
can see
Candy,
incredible
never.
mutilation, dismemberment, things like that. And that can really make people in the general public say, wow, there's some kind of serial killing butcher out there. And so that can mislead you. There are also cases that are suggestive potentially of suicide. People found floating in rivers, things like that. People can be moved great distances by rivers. And so, you know, what I think is we have to be very careful. Now, regarding the ones that may be linked, what I agree with Dr. Burgess absolutely is very interesting is that finding them in woods.
Good point,
where
Mittens,
there
and
is
please be
apparently
careful.
some effort at concealment is suggestive of some kind of organized person that has taken somebody someplace and sort of made it difficult to find them. And that is something that we don't tend to see in garden variety homicides. That is something that can suggest somebody with a kind of a forethought and cool-headedness and meticulousness. And I think those cases are especially interesting in terms of potential linkage.
Dr. Burgess, you know, something that happens here, and I think as we're taking a look at some of the profiles of some of the players in all this, something that I think happens when we watch television dramas, you know, it's always law enforcement downplaying. There's no serial killer. They don't want panic in the community, etc. And sometimes it does turn out to be a serial killer. Sometimes it doesn't, obviously. But what are your thoughts about the timing on when and how you can come to some determination one way or the other? Because it is, in the case of a serial killer, that's when the concern really hits the public, right? If there is some connection, there's a killer on the loose, then everyone is scared. I remember being a child when the Son of Sam, the .44 caliber killer, was on the loose. I was scared, and I was in New Jersey, you know, a young boy in New Jersey, and I was scared. What are your thoughts about when you can make some sort of a definitive statement one way or the other?
Well, certainly when you have a suspect that you get a confession from, we did see that in one of the cases. Now, it happened to be a domestic type of case. It was not a case where it looked in any way. That was the one where the cocaine and the body was in a suitcase and things like that. Now, the suitcase was interesting because there has recently been a case out of Florida for that type of case where a man was left for dead in a suitcase. So you wonder how much that had to do with anything up here. But the other factor that's so important, I think, is in the timing and who finds it, and if some of the evidence may get looked over. Obviously, when a body is in the water, you're not going to have a lot of evidence. But look at how many bodies were near water, or at least in water or near water. That seems quite unusual. The woods, I think Dr. Bricata also mentioned about that. So you've got enough patterns there of places where people are being found. The other thing is these are not big cities. This isn't like New York City or even Boston. These are more rural to some degree. Which is rather interesting, and what that means would be important. I think the other that I wish that we had some, and maybe they do have information on it, is when you have them in the woods and they're left there for a while, you get what's called some types of insects that might give you some clues as to where and how long they have been. So some of these forensic types of analysis that can be done on evidence is what we may find at some point. Then that gets to the suspect. You know, what type of suspect would be doing that or knowing the area? Clearly, in some of the cases, it had to be someone that, if it was somebody who knew that area, that it wasn't something that just a stranger might come across.
Dr. Gary Brucato, how important is it to take a look at the victims and to see if there's any links between the victims, whether it's what they do, what they look like, where they're from, things like that? How important is that to try to figure out a profile for each individual case and then see if there is a link?
Well, the victimology is profoundly important when one is trying to create a profile, because serial killers, who are almost invariably, I mean, if you were to lay out the different types, you'd see that the vast majority of them are sexual in nature, driven by fantasy, sexual fantasy as a way of playing out needs for domination, control, manipulation, so forth, leveling the playing field in life. We see that they are very fantasy-oriented in the sense of needing very particular types of victims, or preying on people that would be sort of invisible, so that they can harm these, hitchhikers, prostitutes, people like this, that, sex workers, people that are going to be invisible a little bit. And what I think is that in this case, the victimology is seemingly so random. There are even males mixed into the story here, that it's very difficult to get a sense of what the heck happened. We also don't have any clues at all of sexual aspects. We would need a lot of information to understand that. Simple example, in the first case in Norfolk, the woman that comes from West Islip in New York and is then found in New Haven, Norfolk in the river. I had heard a report that her clothes and some possessions were found on the banks there near her. Now, this is important because if they just sort of traveled with her and the tide took some things off and they washed up and so forth, that's one story. Another story is that they were left there intentionally. Then we have to wonder, why are the victim's clothes off of her? You know, is there a sexual component? So I think that this is an example where we need a great deal more information. The other thing I think is very important to point out
Welcome,
is
Clifton.
that people are getting spooked, I think, by what looks like a very rapid progression, where we have to remember that
Exactly,
serial
Noel.
killers tend to have cooling off periods. People on sprees will go out and kill all kinds of people very quickly with no breaks. But this is something where these people were probably killed many months apart, and their remains were hidden well and just sort of left out there.
Absolutely.
I think we have to understand that if this were one person, or some of them is one person, it's been busy for a while, and it's all just coming to light now.
Hold the rest of that
Happens
thought.
every day,
We've got
Candy.
more with Dr. Ann Burgess and Dr. Gary Brucato still to come. What's really going on here?
Until we can definitively say, what killed her, we have to consider all options.
How do you explain it? Two teenagers, they go from zero to the worst crime.
Police here talking about a couple of the cases.
If you look at our investigation in its totality, there's no indication that there was any form of criminality, anything like that. We actually, I don't know if you follow, there was just an arrest was made there was the body parts in a suitcase that was found. The person who was just arrested, and again, an arrest is, not an indication of guilt per se. Everyone needs their day of, their day in court.
Exactly,
but the person who was
Noel.
arrested was this person's roommate, I believe. So we see no connection between that person and Miss Leary. We see no indication of criminality at all. And again, this is subject to change. So, the investigation, until we can definitively say, what killed her, we have to consider all options.
I think it's a pretty honest answer from New Haven Police. Talk about, okay, in the case here, no criminality, someone's been arrested the other, but we have to keep all options open because we really don't know. Which brings us to the next question in our investigation. What's really going on here, right? That's the other part. Like, if they're connected or if they're not connected, what is really going on here, and how do you get to that answer? Still with us, Dr. Ann Burgess and Dr. Gary Brucato. Let me ask you, Dr. Burgess, do you think
Me too, Noel. I love
all
Vinny.
these different jurisdictions that are investigating them, that they need maybe someone to take a look at all the cases, maybe a profiler or maybe a small task force to look at everything just to make sure or to see if there are any connections, to have like one set of eyes looking at everything?
Yeah, I think that's an excellent suggestion, and it's and perhaps they are thinking of it. We certainly hope they are thinking of it. You usually would, because these are fairly close cases, and when you just look at the geography of it. And somebody that isn't involved to come in and take a look at what's available, because I know there's more information that's available, but not to the public. So nothing that we can look at. And that would make most sense. The jurisdictional issue in any type of law enforcement case is really, really important. And I've certainly in my career seen problems when you don't get people talking together or sharing information. It's really sharing the information. It can get, it really can be a big barrier. So I think that's number one. The other is they probably are talking with people that they're trying to find suspects that are known to the victim. And I think that's where the case you just talked about up in New Haven came about. It was somebody that was living in the same building, I think, with this victim. And even when we looked at what was getting known to the public, they had to do several interviews before he was able to give them any kind of confession. And they did get it. So you may be getting some of that in some of these cases, because some of these, one is clearly being investigated as a homicide. That's what the law enforcement says, so that you know that there are at least several of these very suspicious ones that, if they're not being looked at as a task force, should be. So I very much think your suggestion should be taken very seriously.
Dr. Gary Brucato, if there is a killer or killers, do you think with all this publicity that's happening now that they are paying attention to what people are saying in the news?
Well, it's a little complicated. First of all,
I don't ask you easy questions, Dr. Brucato. You're not here for the easy ones. You're here for the hard ones.
And I don't give easy answers either, because I can go on and on. But the thing is that what I think is that if there is one or more people that are responsible for one or more of these offenses, and it is of a serial nature, a person would be watching likely for two reasons. One, to make sure that the authorities are not ahead of them, to sort of get a sense of how frightened people are and all that. So they might have to be more cautious.
Good point,
and so forth. But the other reason, of course, would be to devour and enjoy the infamy that would be associated with this. And so as a consequence, we tend to see, particularly in serial killers that are not overtly sexually motivated, for example, the Zodiac killer, Ed Kaczynski, the son of Sam. What you see in that type of person is a lot more of an expression of domination and control through manipulation of the media, writing letters, things like that. And so if there is something like that going on, we'd really have to understand the motive to make a guess about what this type of person will be doing in the shadows. My strong sense, based on what we're seeing so far, is we need a lot more information. A couple of these cases are suspicious for potential linkage, and some of them I think we're going to find out have other explanations. But we'll see. But some of them are certainly suspicious.
Dr. Ann Burgess, we have about 20 seconds left here. What are your final thoughts tonight? And how about for folks who live in New England? Do you believe they should be concerned?
My final thoughts are, if any of these victims or these persons we've been talking about have been murdered, it really needs to be solved. Whether it's a serial killer or a single person or double murder, something like that, really needs to be solved, because I think this is important for the community. This has alerted the community, and I think that's important that you want.
I agree that they need to come out with some kind of a yes or no to give the people like peace of mind in this area. Truly, that's all. Because I know they're all freaking out. I would be if I lived there.
Want to keep your community under control. And it could be because there are so many that are kind of in a very small area that and they're reading from different media pieces about how the investigations are going. I think they even have a website.
Yeah, absolutely.
So this is important. You have to really try to do what we can to get the information, get something.
I hate cutting off Dr. Ann Burgess, but we're out of time. The best in the business. Dr. Ann Burgess, Dr. Gary Brucato, thank you both so much. Until the cases are solved and arrests are made and convictions are obtained, there will continue to be many questions from the community. When this happens, it really requires extra transparency from law enforcement to do everything possible to help the public understand what is really happening. The best way to do this is just be open and honest and address all the questions.
Thanks again, Vinny. That's kind of where this case is at this point, you guys. It's just kind of hurry up and wait. Let's see what comes out. Let's see what the MOs, if there's anything that matches up. And hopefully at this point, maybe they won't be. Maybe it'll just be a really big, bad coincidence that all these things happened. It's still a problem that this many people were killed in such a short period of time or died in certain circumstances. I can't imagine too many people were natural causes here, but something's up. Something's up. Scott Metalhead, what's happening, brother? Great to see you. Thanks for joining us today from over the pond. I don't think so, but we're still kind of waiting for them to come together with that, Scott. And at some point, they'll put that out, I think, final analysis, and it'll give kind of a yay or nay to that. You know what I mean? They're all different ages. Yes. A lot of them are older, not older as in like my age older, not older, but you know, which is odd in that scenario, but we'll see. So was it robberies? Was it, you know, I don't even know. I don't even know how to approach it, but it is quite interesting to have that many pop out. It is very important for the people in these areas to know, to get some peace of mind so that they can breathe, in my opinion. You know what I mean? That's pretty much my thought on it. And of course, Nancy did it's almost the same type thing they just did. So that's what's going on with that. Just to give you guys a full-blown update on that. Also, Noelle had sent me something over too that I thought was kind of interesting, and I appreciate when you guys do. Let me see here if I can find this and see what we can make this another. Well, this is going to be something, we're going to be jumping subjects here, but it's just another segment. What we do on these days is we talk about many different things going on. Absolutely, Scott. And in hopes of getting the word out about many different things going on in the world. So let's check this out. I think we've seen some stuff from this gentleman before. And again, thank you. I didn't get a chance to preview this, so we're going to do this together. You are absolutely welcome, Alicia. Of course I will. Give me a minute here. If nothing else, this will fit into our strange crime and so on and so forth going on out there. See what's up. And again, Noel, thank you for your participation. And I love getting things from you guys to be able to provide. There's a link to it. I believe this is the email that Noel sent me here. Hold on. Let me double check it to make sure. Yeah, that's the only one I got that was new. So let's see here. We're going to check this out here, and then on we go. Right. Thank you so much, Noel. I appreciate it.
Underground cities, secret underground cities all over the world.
Like I said, this goes into our strange findings segments that we put out there from time to time. I really appreciate this. I love this kind of stuff. It's really interesting to me. So thank you again, Noel. I appreciate your input on this and sending this over.
And things get really weird when Derek posted this video 2 days ago where he actually gets to hear what sounds like this huge machine digging something beneath his yard.
I have no idea what's going on, but listen to this. There's something under the ground.
Actually goes to the extent of renting a machine to dig his backyard to find out what's going on. But the question everyone's making is this normal? Is this supposed to happen? And are there secret underground cities in LA, New York, and many other places? And the more I search about this, the crazier it gets.
My God, bro. Footage I took exploring the underground tunnels in LA.
Let's start with Derek's video.
Exactly, at least that's what it reminds me of.
What's going on? But listen to this. There's something under the ground.
Wow.
And it sounds like it's about to bust out.
I'm not gonna lie, you guys. This has happened here. No lie. We have felt vibration, like standing out in our yard. We felt vibration on the underground. I don't know where it's coming from. Now we live fairly close to a military installation, probably within 4 miles. Okay. Is it that? I don't know. Do they have, because a lot of these military installations have underground facilities. Okay. So we could be standing in our yard and you'll just feel this vibration. It makes your whole body vibrate. And you're like, what the hell is that? And you move around in the yard, and some places it stops, some places it doesn't. And it happens all the time. So I don't know what it is. I don't know if it has something to do with military or if it doesn't, or if it's just something else. I don't know. I'm just telling you, but it is definitely wild. Definitely wild.
What is that? Get out of there, buddy. I can hear it.
It's over here in the field.
That is wild. So is this supposed to happen? He posted a second video. Let's take a look at this.
See, here you can't hear that. You just feel the vibration under your feet, and it goes up through your body. Literally, it's just like a. And when you step away from certain spots, it stops. It's so weird. Like if I go to my front yard, in front of my house, we don't feel it. But if I'm standing here to the side, going that direction, you'll start to feel it. And then as you move closer to my house, it stops. It's not, but certain parts you can stand there and it's real strong. So it's just, it's so weird. Now that I see this, now it's like, what the hell? Come on. There are people living underneath my house. You know what I mean? It's just crazy stuff. Crazy.
I've never heard nothing like it.
Yeah, me neither.
It almost sounds like a machine or like one of them things that, what are the tunnel things that plows through stuff. You know what I mean?
That's not good, buddy. I mean, like he even rented a machine. Look at this. So he goes.
Yeah, right there was I heard the noises. I spray painted it. Here we go.
Good point, Scott. It kind of does. Or a fan like no else said.
I can actually hear the sound.
We're going to dig in like 3 different spots.
Wow, so this is his last video. This was posted 22 hours ago. I hope he makes an update. So someone said, why not dig the very spot you filmed last night at the fence? And he says, I'm digging at 3 different places, which he actually stated in the video. I work for a pipeline company. You need to call about a possible line leak. I would do it today if I were you and probably get away from that area. Wow. So some people think it's a tunnel boring machine. And then there's this guy saying there's huge drilling machines making tunnels, and that's most likely what it is. Phil spoke about them before him. This guy says it's a direction drill drilling in new fiber optics, power, gas, could be a number of things, but they typically run 4 feet-ish, sometimes less, and make the same exact noise when they run into hard ground. Could be the case. It kind of makes sense. But Christie says they're building tunnels, which are basically cities underground. There's another life hidden away from us. So I start searching for more videos like this when I find this one from Lex Levine, posted on December 17th. And this is what she found.
No, this isn't a horror film. This is just the footage I took exploring the underground tunnels in LA in 2017. This is what it looks like when you first enter into the tunnels, like the fluorescent lighting. I didn't get a video of the escalators going, but it looks like it's running, but there's no one there.
What? Escalator is running? Okay, so
These little chutes
wait. Why are all the lights on? It's like there's something going on there.
are all throughout the tunnels, and who knows what the heck they throw down there. Don't even know where it goes to. Mirrors like this are on pretty much every corner, so I think that they drive some sort of vehicles down here. It's pretty small, so it'd probably have to be a golf cart.
Yeah, that's weird. Pretty sure there's a good explanation for it, though.
Not gonna lie, if I was a human, this would be the optimal place.
So this woman makes a very curious statement. Is this why I always see some streets getting worked on for months and years and never see a difference in the surface? Well, that's a pretty good question. So this guy makes a really good question. You haven't mentioned where you found these, how you gained access to it. And she says, this is a portion of the underground tunnels in LA. I believe we entered under the Hall of Records building. So not only did she not answer the full question, she is kind of missing. She hasn't posted ever since. And this is kind of bizarre. But here you go. This is her last video. As you can see, she posts about beauty products, that sort of stuff. And then this video, kind of weird. And it's her last video. This was like last month. Where is she? What's going on? So then there's this video over here. Let's take a look at this. POV, you found Diddy's abandoned mansion and find something strange. A tunnel. I don't think this is Diddy's mansion. Yeah, someone said this is not Diddy's mansion. Yeah, I thought so. This is just an abandoned mansion. Let me take a look at this. What? LA has many underground tunnels, including subway tunnels, which are expected, and tunnels for Hollywood stars? What? Is this real? There are tunnels that run for 100 feet underground to the Hall of Records. So Will Smith makes this very bizarre post a couple of months actually ago.
Because there's a series of intricate tunnels underneath Los Angeles known as the Actorbahn.
What?
I'm not kidding. Like, they...
Actorbahn? What? Well, the Actorbahn. A series of secret tunnels that were used by Hollywood stars to travel without being bothered by fans. How come there's no video of this place?
Points to move through the city without ever having to be in traffic. You can come up in LAX, you can pop up at Dodger Stadium. Underneath there in those tunnels is Starbucks set up at different locations.
No, wait, this is kind of ridiculous. He's kind of making statements about this without having any proof at all. What I find weird, however, is that Will Smith actually posted this to his account and it went big. Is he like trying to say something here, or is he just mocking this guy doing this video of him driving in LA? You know, in today's world, thinking about this, there should be a video of this Actorbahn tunnel. So here I'm like looking for evidence of this, and I find this one.
This is the underground city that was found beneath Los Angeles by a man named Warren Schufelt. It was discovered using a device he invented to detect underground tunnels and caverns. Schufelt mapped out a network of passageways stretching for miles beneath the city. And here is where it gets crazy. His maps indicated a central chamber filled with gold and advanced artifacts. Schufelt said that upon analysis of the artifacts and the scriptures found within the passageways, they all pointed to a lost continent named Lemuria.
Wait. Warren Schufelt.
Whoa.
So there's this very long article here on allcation.com. Okay, so it has to do with Fort Moore Hill, once a prominent landmark in downtown Los Angeles. It served as a strategic military site during the U.S.-Mexican War, where it played a pivotal role the defense of Los Angeles, initially established as Fort Hill in 1846 and later renamed Fort Moore in the 1930s. It became part of an eccentric search for an alleged underground city of lizard people. Okay, so this is kind of interesting. Let's go back to this video.
Despite his groundbreaking findings, city officials abruptly shut down his excavation. They officially claimed that the tunnels were old subway lines, but this is where they messed up. The Los Angeles subway system didn't begin operation until 1990, over 70 years after Schufelt's discovery. So what subway lines were they referring to? Some speculate that they were referring to an ancient civilization that had access to a subway-like system.
But wait, did this really happen? So this is the, oh my, so this is actually a document from the LA Times in 1934. Oh my gosh, this is actually real. Lizard People's Catacomb City hunted. What? Engineers sink shaft under Fort Moore Hill to find maze of tunnels and priceless treasures of legendary inhabitants. Oh my gosh. This kind of goes in line with the same thing that happened in the Grand Canyon with all those newspapers talking about these bizarre artifacts that were found.
Now, I did a show on the Grand Canyon thing one time, and that whole buried and hidden city of underneath the Grand Canyon thing, and they found that to be relatively true. They didn't find all treasures and stuff, but they did find underground, like what looked like a city type thing. This is crazy. Interesting find, though, Noel. This is wild.
In the Grand Canyon, and that were covered up. Oh my, so these images actually come from the article.
Like I said, this fits perfect with our strange and crazy segments in the news. I love it.
Well, there's an entire map of it. This is kind of crazy, isn't it? These are actual photos of this guy doing the testing. Oh my gosh, Schufeldt learned of the legend of the lizard people after his radio x-ray had led him over an area extending from the public library on West 5th Street to Southwest Museum on Museum Drive at the foot of Mount Washington. So I started searching for more videos of these kind of tunnels. I found this one from Kelly Street Shots.
Those underground tunnels are real out here in Los Angeles. Tunnel just going straight to underneath. You can see there's Maze Bank, Shohei painting downtown. This road just disappears. Goes into the underground world. Out in plain sight too. And with the buses, some cars. And if you see, it just stops right here, turns into grass, and that's it. Just disappears.
Someone says that's the E-Line East LA side of Metro Rail. Yeah, that's got to be it. There's nothing much to this video, so let's keep looking. So this is from Not Me on TikTok. This was actually posted 3 days ago.
Understood, Noel. I love this kind of stuff.
Why is it lit like that?
Oh wow. Can see lights down in there. That's wild.
So she has like a bunch of videos. That's the only video about this bizarre red light underneath. Holy cow. So it seems even though there's several articles stating that no, there are no tunnels from Diddy's house to mansions in LA, well, it seems that that's not exactly true. It's wild.
Has just discovered blueprints for a network of tunnels beneath the mansion that supposedly led to the homes of Jack Nicholson, Warren Beatty.
Now I will say that I do remember hearing stories about tunnels running underneath the Playboy Mansion throughout LA area. So that story I have heard years ago.
James Caan.
Will you watch yourself, all right?
And Kirk Douglas. Now dig this. A photo from the late 70s allegedly showing an excavation in progress beneath the mansion. And this one shows the newly discovered tunnel plans. Check out the bunny logo on the plywood wall. Best of all, the blueprint. It says this tunnel leads to James Caan's house. This one to Jack Nicholson's. This one to Kirk Douglas's. And this one goes all the way to...
Yeah, I'm not sure about this, even though it's not impossible. There's like very little evidence. This is kind of freaking me out. This is coming in from this account over here on Twitter. So we go back to this interview with this guy stating that he's been to these underground tunnels and a Starbucks.
So your NDA is expired and you could talk about this. You used to work at a secret Starbucks. Is that right?
Yeah, there is a Starbucks that is like above reserve, like a Starbucks no one's ever heard of or been to.
Oh, so this video was posted by Dude's Son's vlog 8 years ago, and I don't know why comments are turned off. Let's take a look at this.
Should we ask the cop? Can I ask you something? Do you guys know there's this tunnel system that was made in the 1920s, the prohibition?
You're not allowed to go down there. The sheriff's patrolling. You're not allowed to go down there.
Oh, sheriff's patrolling there.
Yeah, they don't let anybody down there.
What?
We just want to see the entrance. Take pictures there.
We're not sure.
Now you're pulling my leg.
No, wait, is this real?
They patrol so people won't go there.
Yeah. So there's several entrances, but sheriff's patrol there. They're saying you can't go there. I'm saying we're not going there. We're just going to see the entrance. Knows that there is entrances, but they're not telling us. So.
Yeah, this is it. What's down there? Is this where the tunnels are? Did you guys go down there?
I don't know.
We're going now since you have now that we have a group.
Yeah. So what's up?
You know where to go.
Where are you guys? Do you guys know where we're going?
Same place.
The tunnels?
Yeah.
Did you find them? I have no idea. You guys know?
We're looking for it.
So I think
The blind leading the blind. Yeah.
Does it keep going down?
What?
You're not the only ones. Like, it's not even locked. It's all these records from like back in the days, criminal records and things. This is exciting. Figuring shit out. I love this kind of shit.
My gosh, so there's like a bunch of people trying to find these tunnels, and this was like 8 years ago. This
100-year-old entrance.
They're definitely gonna get in trouble. It's I mean, come on.
Oh damn.
That's what I said.
Let's just keep going straight. Let's just keep going straight.
Where are you guys at?
Whoa.
What's up? There's buttons and things here.
So apparently they kind of end up in this place and they did not find anything, or like, I mean, the tunnels that they were talking about. But this is an interesting video about it. So I was searching for this. I found this account who's like this guy who does urbex, and he came across underground tunnel in Chicago. That's like endless systems of tunnels. Check this out.
Now they're in Chicago. Hell, I wonder if we got them in Cleveland.
My gosh, this is huge. What? Actually, a hospital?
Whoa.
Doesn't look like underground, buddy. But no way. Yeah, I've heard about these things, about the schools being connected to tunnels. Is this real? Let me take a look at this. Okay, so this was 2 years ago, an old underground passage at my school. Seems like this is a mirror, actually. Mystery tunnel explored beneath Central School. This is in Yucatan, Mexico, I guess. Wow.
Wow.
Wait a minute, didn't I hear something like this? Holy cow. Okay, so they found a tunnel with the extension of 2 kilometers, or about 1.8 and 1.6 miles, I guess, in Brazil, just like 5 days ago, something like that. It's like this huge tunnel that goes from this school, and they don't know actually where it leads. This is a part of the video. Are you kidding me? Look at that. This is wild. So going back to the first video that we just watched from Derek, it seems that there's more people that actually find these secret tunnels underneath their homes, which begs the question, what is going on? What's the purpose of these tunnels? Does it have any relation to these underground tunnels that were found hundreds of years ago, or these lizard people, or whatever is going on here? Let's take a look at Wade Wilsonson's video. Check this out.
Make sense of all this? You ever bought a home with a hole? I advise go in.
What?
Whoa. Whoa. No, no, no. No, you don't go in there.
Oh, you gotta be kidding me.
No way.
Oh, you gotta be kidding.
No way, Jimmy. Oh my God, bro. Are you
What? You gotta be kidding me.
going right back in?
Under somebody's house? Hell no.
I think it got smaller.
Now, I will say here, where I'm from, where I was born and raised, we did have tunnels that were part of the Underground Railroad, but they were nothing like this. Okay, they were just small tunnels, somewhat dirt. They were dirt. And they led around the city and they connected to different cities, but nothing like some of this extravagant stuff we're seeing here, but more along the lines of this. This is crazy stuff, but still, yeah, the Underground Railroad, which is a real thing that led all the way from the south clear up to where I'm from here in Ohio. We have them inside our churches. They blocked them off now, but I've seen them. And it's wild, but that other stuff with the concrete done and all that, I've never seen anything like that. That's crazy. This is a great video, by the way, though, Noel, and I really enjoy this kind of stuff. So it's good to take a break from some of the other stuff we see on a regular basis. This is awesome. I love it.
I don't know what the I'm getting myself into.
Yeah.
The water hose. A full cement floor, too.
You're not going to get me down there.
Jesus.
That is an awesome question. What is that?
Lord.
Oh my gosh.
It's a home, bro. Closet.
Looks like somebody could have lived
How
there.
old is that?
Like someone was trying to get out here.
Yeah, well, it looks like it's hundreds of years old. Real question here is, where was this and when was this? So that is crazy. There's also this guy. This is an urban explorer.
Yep.
Yes.
Beautiful. All right, someone look.
Are you kidding me? $100-foot ladder. Are you kidding me? Wow.
Welcome, Moonlit. Thank you for joining us today. Congrats on your new puppy.
So this guy's a cave explorer, but this tunnel in Chicago is kind of weird, if true. So this is everything I could find for now, but we got a few things. So where is this tunnel in LA that this guy was talking about that he worked at a Starbucks? Is this real? There's no evidence of that, no videos, but still, it's quite strange that it's listed when you search for it on Google, it's actually there. There's a bunch of schools where we have these underground tunnels that connect the schools to where? This is kind of weird. This has been found all over the world. We also have a bunch of people that find these very old tunnels built underneath their homes, and this alleged city, very old lizard people city built underneath LA. This was supposedly found hundreds of years ago. Not to mention the woman that found this supposed tunnel underneath LA. She posted the video to her TikTok account and was never seen again. I mean, she never uploaded any more videos. It's kind of weird, isn't it? And we also got Derek with this thing that's digging underneath his backyard right now. And if there's an update, I'll let you guys know.
Well, that footage came from a channel by the name of James. I put the link in chat. Again, very much appreciated. I've watched some of his stuff before. It's quite interesting. He finds all sorts of wild things. And like I said, it's perfect for one of our segments here that we look at strange and unusual new things in the news. So, bingo. And Noel, thank you so much for sending that to me. I really appreciate it. It filled a space that I kind of wanted to. So, very much appreciated. There's a link to the channel, James's channel. Go check it out, guys. If you have an interest in any of the other stuff, there's quite a few other things that he's put in there. You got me curious, though. So, let me see something here real quick. Let's see here. Hold on a minute. Hold on. Yeah, I've seen that one too, Noel. Thank you, dear. Oh, yeah, there are tunnels underneath Cleveland too, I believe, Heather. Hey, Heather, good to see you today, hon.
Lies a web of secret tunnels, rumored to include the mysterious Achterbahn, an underground highway said to whisk Hollywood elites between studios, avoiding traffic and paparazzi. But it gets stranger. Some employees claim there are hidden Starbucks tucked within these tunnels, reserved for VIPs. One former barista recalls making lattes for A-list celebrities, under strict orders to keep things confidential. Whether fact or urban legend, the intrigue surrounding these tunnels fuels speculation about the hidden lives of Hollywood's elite. Beneath Los Angeles.
Hang on, y'all. Now, that supposedly explains it. I don't know, though. Hold on. There you go. You know how I am, guys. I get curious as soon as I see something.
In a labyrinth known to few, lies a network of tunnels that have witnessed the city's most uncomfortable truths. Originally designed to support urban growth, these passageways became secret smuggling routes for crime and corruption. However, the tunnels have taken on new life over the decades, hiding stories that few dare to tell. But today, we will uncover them all. This is the story of LA's Forgotten Tunnels. I'm your host, Ryan Socash, and you're watching It's History.
This is just a quick look into it. It's a few minutes long. There's a link for the channel right here.
Go back to a time before Los Angeles became the sprawling metropolis it is today. You see, back then, it faced significant challenges due to its geography. For more context, in the late 19th and early 20th centuries, much of downtown was surrounded by hills like Bunker Hill and Fort Moore Hill, where wealthy families lived in mansions and exclusive neighborhoods. However, as the streetcar system grew and new suburbs like Hollywood emerged, these hills became a barrier to infrastructure development, limiting the city's growth and expansion north and west. One major challenge came down to the fact that streetcars, which connected downtown with the suburbs, couldn't really climb steep hills, so they had to go all the way around them. As an effect of this, traveling was unpleasant, with the routes prolonged and crowded when heading towards the rapidly growing areas of the city like Hollywood or Glendale. So naturally, engineers and urban planners of the time sought solutions to address this very issue, and it was then that they began to modify the terrain. So with few alternatives to solving the city's traffic problem, underground tunnels became an indispensable solution for improving mobility within Los Angeles. One of the first was Hill Street Tunnel, inaugurated in 1909, with construction dating back to 1907. Led by the Pacific Electric Railway, the electric streetcar company that connected Los Angeles to its suburbs, this project was funded by the one and only Henry E. Huntington. Anyhow, it was built with the red cars in mind, which made up the largest streetcar network in the world back then, spanning over 1,000 miles of track its prime. And hence the Hill Street Tunnel, which was approximately 2,600 feet in length, was excavated to allow streetcars to pass through the hill and avoid the surface traffic. Although much of the work was manual, excavation technologies already included using dynamite to break down rocks, as well as steam-powered excavation equipment to move the displaced materials. After 2 years of work, the tunnel was complete. This tunnel was crucial for connecting downtown Los Angeles to growing areas like Hollywood and Glendale, and effectively reduced travel time by approximately 15 minutes, a significant saving. This tunnel also allowed streetcars to pass directly under the hills instead of circling around them, making the journey much faster and efficient. It also happened to reduce street congestion, which was becoming an issue with the increased number of automobiles in the city, growing by the day. At that time, other vital tunnels were also excavated, such as the 4th Street Tunnel, which connected downtown with the western part of the city, whereas in Bunker Hill, in addition to leveling parts of the hill, additional tunnels were constructed to facilitate streetcar movement in rugged terrain. And like magic, Los Angeles expanded into new residential and commercial areas. However, while tunnels like the Hill Street and 4th Street were excavated for streetcar transport,
That's awesome,
another
Bones,
lesser-known network
an interesting
began to take
experience.
shape beneath downtown. The Los Angeles City Administration and various private entities, such as banks, commissioned the construction of other tunnels to facilitate the transportation of sensitive things like money, important documents, and even prisoners. Unlike the extensive public transportation tunnels, these smaller ones weren't built to move passengers across the city. Rather, they were meant to fulfill critical administrative and logistical functions. In particular, this secret network of tunnels connected critical areas of the Civic Center, where courts, jails, and banks were located. These underground routes also allowed daily operations to occur efficiently without crossing the crowded streets of downtown. Although much shorter and more complex than the tunnels built for streetcars, they were reinforced with concrete to ensure stability, and hence the tunnels were gradually built connecting the buildings as the city expanded. Many of the entrances to these tunnels were hidden in the basements of buildings or beneath important structures, allowing easy and discreet access for those who used them. While the exact construction cost of this network was not well documented, they were likely part of a general expense associated with constructing buildings in the Civic Center and other private institutions downtown. By the 1920s, it was estimated that there were around 11 miles of tunnel under the city of Los Angeles, particularly in the downtown area. Thus, what began as a solution to Los Angeles's geographic and traffic problems would soon evolve into a network of underground routes that shaped the city's transportation, but only to later play a role in its darker history. In 1920, the nation underwent a drastic change with the implementation of prohibition, which made the production, sale, and transportation of alcohol totally illegal. As the country adjusted to this new reality, the underground of Los Angeles became the perfect refuge for those seeking to evade the law. With over 11 miles of underground passages, these tunnels were repurposed as secret routes for moving smuggled alcohol. The tunnels connected to hidden bars, known back then as speakeasies, a term which apparently comes from speaking quietly to avoid drawing attention. These places were discreet and often hidden behind the ordinary facades of legitimate businesses like restaurants, shops, or warehouses. Many were located in basements or behind concealed doors, whereas some were connected directly to the tunnels.
I took cadaver classes when I got involved in EMS bombshell. As a kid, I can't imagine that, but they're interesting for sure.
Under the city, making it easier to move the alcohol and people around without detection. And they also had a very strong cultural impact, as speakeasies offered more than just illegal drinks. Many featured live music, such as jazz, and attracted people from all walks of life, ranging from ordinary citizens to celebrities and figures from organized crime. Some of the most famous venues included the King Eddie Saloon, disguised as a piano store, and the executive Coconut Grove at the Ambassador Hotel, which attracted stars like Frank Sinatra and the Marx Brothers. We should also point out that Skid Row played a critical role in the alcohol smuggling that went on during Prohibition. Located in the heart of downtown, and not terribly far away from the port, this area facilitated the illegal transportation of liquor that arrived on ships. The alcohol was offloaded and discreetly moved through a network of underground tunnels once it approached Skid Row. Many bars and warehouses here had secret entrances to these tunnels, which not only provided safe access to alcohol, but also offered quick escape routes in case of raids. Additionally, since this was a somewhat marginal area, police surveillance in Skid Row was said to be less strict than in other parts of the city, allowing speakeasies to operate with less risk of being discovered. And it needs to be emphasized that organized crime played a central role in running this network, controlling the smuggling and ensuring the operation of secret bars. At the same time, corruption within the police and local politicians helped minimize the number of raids, meaning over time, these tunnels became the center of corruption that dominated Prohibition-era Los Angeles. They weren't only routes for alcohol smuggling, but the scene of serious crimes, including murders, financial fraud, and even mafia activity. One of the most infamous was the Julian Petroleum Scandal, a massive fraud that shook the city in the mid-1920s. At the heart of the scandal was C.C. Julian, who, through his company, Julian Petroleum Corporation, orchestrated a Ponzi scheme, selling more than $150 million in fraudulent shares. Thousands of investors were deceived, including prominent businessmen and influential figures in the city. While the tunnels were being used for alcohol smuggling, Julian and his associates took advantage of this underground infrastructure to move large sums of money discreetly, hiding their operations from public scrutiny. The fraud collapsed in 1927, when it was revealed that Julian had issued millions of shares with no natural backing, leaving the investors bankrupt and the local financial system in chaos. C.C. Julian fled to China to avoid justice and eventually committed suicide in 1934. Now, the tunnels were not only witness to Julian's financial fraud, but also the violent power struggles that erupted among gangs and other critical figures in Los Angeles' organized crime scene. One of the darkest cases was the murder of Charlie Goodtime Crawford. These dark stories soon captured the imagination of both writers and filmmakers. With that shadowy duality between glamour and crime, Los Angeles became the perfect setting for an entirely new genre of film. As Los Angeles moved beyond the Prohibition era in 1933 and alcohol smuggling operations crumbled, the underground tunnels that were once crucial for illegal activity began to fall into disuse. Without the need to move illegal goods beneath the city, the tunnels were just gradually forgotten by both the public and, in many cases, the authorities. Some were sealed off, whereas others were just left abandoned, accumulating dust and being covered by new construction. Although the infrastructure remained intact in many cases, their functionality and the demand for secret routes disappeared. Over the decades, certain sections of these underground areas continued to be used sporadically for minor purposes, such as storage or even filming movies that aimed to capture this forgotten network's mysterious and dark atmosphere. Given the city's history of political scandals, organized crime, and influence of dark elements in Hollywood, Los Angeles itself became the ideal character for these stories. Hence, film noir found its perfect setting during the 1940s and 50s. Iconic films like Double Indemnity, Sunset Boulevard, and Kiss Me Deadly were filmed in emblematic locations such as Bunker Hill, the Bradbury Building, and Angel's Flight. But more importantly, they often featured the tunnels, which by then were already marked by urban decay. These areas reflected the corruption and crime of real gangsters, a quality that lended authenticity to the genre's plots. You see, in film noir, characters often move through an environment of corruption and danger, much like the tunnels in real life. This connection between hidden spaces and plots filled with betrayal and crime made the tunnels an integral part of the dark imagination of the films from that era. Some literary works have also used Los Angeles' underground tunnels as crucial elements in their stories. Among them is The Big Nowhere, 1988, by James Ellroy, which sets the story in the 1950s where clandestine activities and tunnels might have played a role in the crimes and corruption described. On the other hand, Jace Daniels' Under Angels from 2011 explores Los Angeles' underground tunnels directly. This suspense novel uses the tunnels as a setting to develop mysteries related to criminal activity and hidden figures, cleverly integrating the passageways into the narrative. During the 1960s and 1970s, Los Angeles experienced a series of urban transformation that profoundly changed the city's landscape. Perhaps one of the most notable changes was the remodeling of Bunker Hill. a historic area that once housed old mansions, but was demolished to make way for modern office buildings and skyscrapers. At the same time, the city saw a massive expansion of its highway network, which facilitated suburban growth by connecting new residential areas directly to downtown. A new feature of the city that also led to the rapid decline of the streetcar system, which ceased operations altogether in 1961. And this was no small fact. The disappearance of this mode of transportation led Los Angeles to rely heavily on automobiles, contributing to high traffic and urban sprawl towards the suburbs. As a result, some tunnels remained part of the city's hidden landscape, accessible only to government building employees or security companies. Occasionally, they still serve their original purpose for transporting money or documents between banks and offices. However, much of the network is just abandoned, and this has been showcased by urban explorers who rediscovered the tunnels in the late 1980s and 90s, and once the word got out, some areas took on a new life. As spaces used for urban art, where murals and ephemeral works have been created, they've also been a center of several urban myths, like the Lizard Man, and have been associated with both real and fictional crimes, reinforcing their image as dangerous, hidden places. As a result, interest in the tunnels has grown. While most are closed off and totally inaccessible to the public, some sections can be seen in guided tours. Although Los Angeles' underground tunnels have become a tourist attraction in a sense, they also tell a less visible story. A story that's been a bit inconvenient for the city in these polarized times. Since behind the cultural and historical interest, these spaces have been occupied by those seeking refuge in a city marked by the housing crisis, creating a contrast that reveals the complex reality of modern Los Angeles. In areas like Skid Row, where the homelessness crisis is especially severe, some of these tunnels have become makeshift shelters for those who have no other housing options, reflecting the persistent crisis that Los Angeles faces, as it remains one of the cities with the highest number of homeless individuals in the entire country. Implementing plans like the Skid Row Action Plan, which has managed to rehouse nearly 1,000 people in permanent homes, remains challenging. In 2022, for example, more than 4,400 people lived in Skid Row, of which 2,695 were unsheltered. Although the homeless population has decreased by 14% in the last 2 years, nearly 3,800 people are still living on the streets, many of them turning to tunnels and other abandoned spaces to survive. While authorities have tried to seal off many entrances to prevent safety and sanitary risks, the tunnels continue to attract homeless individuals because they offer privacy and protection from the elements. Currently, the Los Angeles government has yet to make concrete plans to rehab or officially repurpose these underground areas, a fact that pretty much remains unchanged since the Prohibition times. Though it should be said that there's at least one large-scale project to build new tunnels under Los Angeles, and that, of course, is Elon Musk's Boring Company, which planned to create an extensive system of tunnels under the city. Musk proposed a futuristic system with multiple layers of underground tunnels, which could in theory reach 100 levels deep, primarily intended for rapid and efficient transportation that would completely alleviate the city's congestion. Although these ideas are still conceptual in nature and will likely take some time to become a reality, if they become a reality at all, these tunnels would have no direct connection to the historic ones. However, I have to imagine if we fast forward another 100 years, would they also be abandoned? We're going to leave it there for today, but you can keep the show going by clicking.
Wild stuff. Oh, you're okay, Moonlit. There hasn't been anything yet. I ran something this morning. I ran the press conference, but that's it. Hold on a minute here. One moment, guys. The last thing I found was the press conference and the fact that they're scaling back the search. That's it, guys. Unfortunately, nothing new. I don't know. Really sad and scary situation. Very sad. Just prayers and thoughts for him. All right, let's see here. Give me a minute. Load up the next segment here, which is we're gonna jump into. I've been trying to run a certain part of the show every day, where we show different stories of positivity being between people out there, in the world every day, and how many good people there still are out there. I've been running that every day, and of course I have another one for you today. As soon as I get to it. Just a minute here. One moment here. Hold on. All right, here we go. Thank you guys all again for tuning in.
Some people think there just isn't enough kindness in the world. Well, there's plenty of it here on Akimbo. Here's hours worth of clips featuring acts that are so kind, you'll be one step closer to sainthood just by watching.
Ah! Come on, boy! Come on, boy! Good job, boy!
It's a special moment when your grandparents see you in your wedding dress for the very first time. To own up to your past beliefs, say sorry, and be an ally, well, that takes a lot. Dogs enjoy a nice day out too, so why not build yours a little train like this guy did?
Yeah, don't be scared.
I will not be scared.
Yeah?
Okay.
Take everything that is there.
A wonderful act of charity, and a good way to overcome your fear of spiders.
Oh my.
That is yours.
Oh my dear God. Oh my dear Lord.
Yeah,
That's awesome.
You know, this is extra.
Are you dead serious?
I'm serious.
This
That is
real
yours.
money.
That is yours. That's real money. This is extra.
Oh. Oh my God.
No, they play all the time now, Moonlit, but they like each other, so it works out.
When this kid's class surprised him for his birthday, the shock was almost too much. When the brother and sister of these children died at only 3 years old, she promised she'd never be the first to let go of them during a hug. And she never has. He hadn't seen his son in 2 years, so that was the last person he expected to see standing behind him. Sometimes a little bit of human warmth pays off in ways you wouldn't ever expect. Everyone needs a way to pass the time when stuck in traffic, and rock, paper, scissors is as good a way as any.
One more. Hey, read it.
Double or not?
Ooh, double or not. Rock, paper, scissors, shoot. Rock, paper, scissors, shoot. Rock, paper, scissors, shoot. No!
Going to the dentist can be a scary experience, but this dentist manages to add a touch of magic.
What? You have it. Check the ear. You're right. Throw it to me. Got it. Now hold it. Don't lose it this time, okay? Give me your hand. Put it in and hold it really tight. You have it. And you know what you have to do? Break it in half. See if you can split it in half. You got it? Good. Now check both hands. Now. How did you do that?
A touching and original way to say goodbye to a special teammate. Nobody likes seeing a scared dog in the middle of a busy road, but one person decided to do something about it. When two helicopter pilots spot each other, respect is always due, no matter how big the size difference might be. Some people take a full belly for granted, but these kids, however, every square meal is a bonus. The happiest mother-in-law to ever find out she's going to be a grandma? Possibly. She must at least be in the top 10.
No, baby! I'm afraid! I'm afraid! No, my God, I'm afraid! Oh, Jesus! Oh, I'm afraid!
When you're telling your dad you've got a scholarship, you need to stretch that moment out as long as possible. This man is so overwhelmed by the food his wife has sent him and the care she's shown that he literally can't hold it in.
No, hermano. Sí, hermano, no, allí es.
When you're working away from home, there's no better birthday gift than a surprise visit from all your kids. She couldn't wait to see her granddaughter's wedding dress, but was blown away when it turned out to be hers. If your birthday balloons are on the driveway, then there simply must be a reason for it.
You're getting a new driveway.
Leah Stevenson.
It's already done. It's just a matter of when you want it done, if it's this week or next week.
Sweetie.
Happy birthday.
This street photographer made a girl's day by capturing her beautiful natural emotions. When you meet your baby brother for the first time, it's a seriously emotional moment.
Over here. I know. Look at him. Hi, Connor. You can touch him. Hi.
This guy had just been diagnosed with cancer, so while shaving off his hair, his loving wife decided to give him a surprise. When uniforms look after uniforms.
This is life in the big city.
The dog. The dog.
The dog.
Hi, puppy.
After losing her home in a tornado, this woman was overjoyed to find at least one cherished thing had survived.
Oh. Come on.
Get him.
Oh. Well, I thought God just answered one prayer to let me be okay. He answered both of them.
After having life-saving and traumatic surgery, there's only one thing you need: a steady stream of friends and family dropping by to show they care. You're never too young for your very own cone. This guy is the hero that every family of ducks deserves. We really can make the world a better place, with one small gesture like this at a time. Birds are used to being at this height.
Sorry,
It takes a
Lisa.
special human to join them up there, purely to help out.
We need to see these things. You know it.
For this police officer, taking a knee meant more than words could possibly describe. True love never fades with the passing of years. Some kids need glasses a lot sooner than others,
Oh
and
my
this little
God.
guy sure is happy about it.
Hi, Papa. Oh my God, you can see better now, right?
The transformation of a neglected dog to a loved one can often be quite shocking.
Oh, Noel, thank you so much. Again.
What do you buy for the mom and dad who have everything?
Everybody needs
the
to see
gifts
some
they
of this
couldn't get when they were kids.
every day, you guys, because it's so horrible and negative out there. We need to see that there's still good in the
Fishing
world.
for cats is an unusual hobby, but when you need to rescue a frightened kitten, you've got to do whatever works.
You are so very sweet, Noel. God bless you.
Okay.
On his wedding day, this groom paid tribute to his late mom by walking down the aisle with her portrait. When nobody's kind enough to stop and lend a hand, help can come from the most unexpected places. A 96-year-old grandma meeting her great-granddaughter for the first time. What a span of generations.
Because if you're like me, Taylor, it gives us hope. Something we all need right now.
Even busy cops have time for a quick game of hopscotch.
Okay, come on in. I can't find what you need. Come on in.
Want to help the homeless? Why not take them shopping with you?
Thanks, Wally. There you go. There's some change for you. Okay.
Amen, Gina.
And Merry Christmas to you too. Tony, take care of yourself, and I'll see you. I promise I'll come back over here and get you a hat and some gloves.
After having a tough time, this gift of a puppy from his daughter was just too much. When this woman showed signs of dehydration and hunger, this Good Samaritan leapt into action.
Are you hungry? Like, can I get you anything to eat right now? Like, if you could have anything to eat right now, what would you want to eat? So look, I brought you the most amazing steak, burger, sandwich, and french fries. I hope it makes you smile. No, it's not much. We were driving by and we saw you.
What do you need when your baby won't stop screaming mid-flight? A fellow passenger who was a teacher for over 40 years. Some people are already beautiful inside and out, but that doesn't mean they can't be delighted with a very special accessory.
Absolutely, and we appreciate you so much, Noel. God bless you.
With the help of a generous passerby, this coach driver might still be there to this day. Sweets and candy might not seem like a big deal to kids in a more prosperous country, but they can mean everything to some.
Absolutely, Noel. Absolutely, here.
This teenager was struggling to get ready for his homecoming pictures, but luckily this driver was available to deliver him a lesson on how to tie a tie.
There you go. Flat.
These 3 stray dogs were spotted wandering in traffic, but only one concerned human stopped to help. When this woman fed this stray dog's puppies, it found a very touching way to say thank you. If this boat hadn't been out on the water at 4 a.m., then this lucky man may not have been here today.
What happened here? Kayak went down. It's probably 2.5 miles, bro.
Holy shit. All right, here.
Every boat I screamed at.
Wow.
All right, here. Please, you got that.
Thank you very much for stopping, bro.
Yeah.
Oh my God, dude. Honestly,
Jesus Christ.
This 81-year-old woman had already shoveled her backyard by the time this kindly FedEx driver saw her and offered to help.
I don't know if the truck turned itself around or what, but it was on my heart to help her. So I turned around and I went back and I helped her finish shoveling the snow.
This woman helped the supposedly starving man out with all she could spare, one of her avocados. But no kind deed goes unrewarded.
Over mom.
Yeah.
OING. Over mom. OING. Oh, my God, OING. Yeah. You can look at food.
And you know.
Her sisters brushed her hair when they were younger. Some things never change with the passage of time.
It's not all bad out there, everybody.
Yeah.
Really not.
That's all right. Yeah. Let's get her bangs like she wears them.
This mom never had a doll when she was a kid, let alone a Barbie. So her daughter decided it was about time she got one. It's always good to start off your live broadcast with a moment of cuteness.
I'm gonna go live now, but maybe I'll get another hug after. Sound good? Okay, deal.
We see enough air-based rage these days. So isn't it nice to see a complete stranger offering to do a woman's makeup?
Where somebody can say is no, because I asked her if she would do my makeup, and she said yes.
These elderly women were shown color photographs of their younger selves, and this window into the past turned out to be very
proud
moving
to call
indeed.
you part of this community, Noel. I love seeing you here. Love your input. I love the video that you sent me. Please send me more of that stuff. I love it.
This woman's daughter, 18-year-old, had lost 30% of her hair through alopecia, so there was only one special woman she could turn to. After 4 months off school, this kid had the most amazing welcome back from his friends and teachers. Get your Kleenex ready. He's about to be asked to be his brother's best man.
So will you do say yes to be my best man? That's right.
What? You want to be my best man?
Awesome. I love it.
Is it a cake? Is it a toy? No, it's much better than that. It's an adoption. Dogs don't find themselves in more situations than this. Luckily, all these kind-hearted people were nearby and rushed to help. This poor dog's owner left him in the street and just got on that bus. So thank God for the boy behind the camera who ended up adopting him.
All right, that'll do it. You can dry your tears up now. It's all over. Sorry, but I swear to you, we need to see these things every day to remind us that there is still good people and good things going on in the world around us, guys, because we see so much horrible stuff. Hey, Paula, I'm glad you're still here. All right, let's see if we can put some smiles there now instead. Let's see what we got here. All right, here we go.
Hold it.
It's Mr. Krabs.
Come over here.
He looks so cute.
Oh my God.
Why are you still here? Go away.
Wilson just coughed and fell.
Welcome, James. Good to see you.
An egg. Thank you.
These people were lost and stopped to ask for directions.
Buenas tardes, perdona, para Bolonia.
That's hilarious.
Vaya. Venga, gracias.
Qué bueno, tío. Ole.
Eat in my car, maybe there's something dead on it.
This sheep was stuck in a trench and got rescued.
Молодец, Света. Умничка. Умничка. Все, операция удалась.
And he dumped right back down in there.
Thank you for being so patient. You've been so patient.
Oh, the other one.
Okay, now. Be good.
This poor little hedgehog deflated. These girls found a squirrel on the side of the road that they thought could use some help.
Oh my god. What is...
This person tried picking up a frog.
1, 2, 3.
You did not.
Go, Saskia.
Hey,
Really?
you almost done?
What the hell is that?
It's Horace. Horace, no, that won't go in your cheek. Come here. No, no. Pass me the bottle.
Oops.
This streamer was trying to sneak up on this deer without scaring it. A zoo installed a new security camera and it scared the snow leopard.
He's like, oh, there's a turn on.
What up, everybody? Oh, I see how it is. Rude.
So this is really interesting and I have no explanation for why, but this frog refuses to jump outside of this circle.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's crazy.
Oh my god.
Really?
Nah, that's the maddest, bro. Bro, that's sick. Gonna put it on, bro?
Nah, he's not gonna put it on.
Bro, he's gonna put it on, bro.
He's not gonna put
Nah! Nah!
Good guys.
Hi! For some reason, this horse doesn't like talking to men.
No boys, right? Especially not this one.
Oh, that sucked.
He made a fire to warm up his horses that were in the field.
For the horses here. And this one might have got a little close.
These two little guys were spotted doing push-ups at the gym. This gorilla was upset that their stick got stuck.
Oh no!
He's pissed off.
MashaAllah.
Yeah, it looks.
What the hell?
Poor guy got so upset.
Good point, Laura.
Well, hi there. Are you good or are you bad?
I'm not sure if this cat is really brave or really dumb.
For real, kitty? He's like, this is my
This poor
yard. I got
pelican suddenly fell asleep.
They
Well,
will.
damn.
Look, he just has to.
Raccoons are awesome. Unless you get attacked.
Hey! Where are you going?
This cat was chasing a mouse and couldn't figure out where it went.
Where's the mouse, Tucker?
Where's the mouse?
Where's the mouse? Where's the mouse? Then grab the mouse by the tail.
I'm trying to. No.
I guess you never know when squirrels might attack.
That was creepy.
This pigeon was walking around and intentionally put on some bread necklaces. This llama heard someone make a rude comment.
Ew, he's ugly.
That's cute.
Damn, did I say something?
What?
This monkey just realized that he might need some glasses.
He's got my glasses. What's your prescription, bro?
So what do you think he's thinking about?
Like he's looking for a girl to hit on.
I think we found out who the main character is.
Oh, he's fat.
She kept being harassed by her horse, so she decided to finally catch him in the act.
Too funny.
Say cheese.
In such distress.
Cheese.
Holy shit.
Yeah.
This groundhog keeps stealing food from this farmer and always eats it directly in front of the security camera.
That is hilarious to me.
These otters were spotted chasing a butterfly. I think this fish is broken.
Whoa.
Sometimes an octopus will try and punch a fish just for fun.
Wakey, wakey.
Oh my god.
This is a hognose snake, which is a harmless snake that likes to play dead. For some reason, this cow was trying to catch its own tail.
Until it falls over.
I have never seen this type of disrespect before.
Okay.
For some reason, this hamster has a knife. Why is this capybara so small? This truck that was carrying oranges broke down, so these elephants took advantage.
The guys have got a bit of a problem here. And the elephants are coming and helping themselves, taking advantage.
These eagles were trying to build a nest together.
Oh my god. Oh my god.
I would die laughing if I passed the bear and he waved at me.
Apertura automática.
Ma che brava, Nisso!
He's done with asking and has started demanding.
Oh my god.
This guy found a really round bear.
He is a fat bear. Oh my god, the
He
Gina
is
bear.
so chunky. There's a lot more over here on this left side.
This duck loves getting kisses.
There is not.
Back. Have you ever seen a horse that's equipped with turbo? This pigeon was hurt, so they spent months nursing it back to full health. They were finally ready to release it back into the wild. I can't tell which bird is more angry. This poor little guy doesn't know how wheels work. This fish somehow found a pacifier.
All right, y'all. That's gonna do it. I hope that put a little bit of a smile on your face. I'm sorry if I made anybody cry with the positivity stuff. I'm just trying to make everybody feel positive. That's all. So my apologies. I appreciate you guys joining me today. I hope you had a great time while you were here. I appreciate you very much. Plus, of course, got some information on the stories that we put out, and I will definitely keep trying to keep everybody updated on what's going on with Jack and Lily Sullivan. Hopefully we get some good news in that. Other than that, guys, I hope to see you maybe later on this evening, way later. I hope you guys have a great rest of your day. Much love to everybody in here. And Noel, again, thank you so much for your generosity. God bless so very much. We'll see you guys very soon. Don't forget to love yourselves and love each other. Don't change nothing. You guys are the beautiful people. Bye-bye, y'all.
Life's a journey. Let's make every moment shine. Together we share our hearts so intertwined. Each time you tune in, we're dancing in sync. With every story told, just let your soul think. A little laughter, some love, we're flying high. As we wrap up this episode, it's not goodbye. News on the airwaves, spreading joy and cheer. Thanks for being with us, we'll see you right here. Kick back, take a breath, leave your worries behind. This podcast is magic, a treasure you'll find. With every moment shared, we light up the way. Join us next time for more laughs and play. A little laughter, some love, we're flying high. As we wrap up this episode, it's not goodbye. News on the airwaves, spreading joy and cheer. Thanks for being with us, we'll see you right here. Kick back, take a breath, leave your worries behind. This podcast is magic, a treasure you'll find. With every moment shared, we light up the way. Join us next time for more laughs and play. So hit that subscribe, keep the vibe alive. We're riding this wave and it's set to thrive. With smiles all around, let's seize the day. In this podcast family, worries drift away. A little laughter, some love, we're flying high. As we wrap up this episode, it's not goodbye. News on the airwaves, spreading joy and cheer. Thanks for being with us, we'll see you right here. So gather round friends, it's time to reflect. In this joyful moment, what's next to connect? Let's cherish the laughter, the joy that we spread. Together we'll thrive until our hearts are fed. See you next time with stories anew. Can't wait to share more with all of you. So hit that subscribe, keep the vibe alive. We're riding this wave and it's set to thrive. With smiles all around, let's seize the day. In this podcast family, worries drift away. So hit that subscribe, keep the vibe alive. We're riding this wave and it's set to thrive. With smiles all around, let's seize the day. In this podcast family, worries drift away. So gather round friends, it's time to reflect. In this joyful moment, what's next to connect? Let's cherish the laughter, the joy that we spread. Together we'll thrive until our hearts are fed. See you next time with stories anew. Can't wait to share more with all of you. See you next time with stories anew. Can't wait to share more with all of you.